Hi, Uday, can you hear me?
Hi.
Sorry to interrupt, but like I have not done bit manipulation till now. So can I join this lecture?
Yeah. So this lecture is not for the bit manipulation, Gaurav. It's basically we're planning it to complete Q data structure. So it's
Okay,
like an extra class for the Q data structure. Yeah.
okay, fine. Thank you.
So you can join it. The reason why I'm taking up it in module 3 is that Q is an important topic and I don't want you guys to miss up on that. Okay.
Yes, it was not covered in module 2.
Yeah, so no worries, we'll do it. Okay, we'll do a couple of questions. We'll do yeah, based on your stamina, man. Guys are asking for the duration. Like I can go for 3 hours. Okay. Uh, but if you want it a little less, then I'm fine with that as well. Okay. So I hope you guys had your dinner. I mean lunch. I'm sorry, right? So, हाँ. अच्छा तो 2:30 को we can have a break and then for like let's see ठीक है 20 मिनट का break लेंगे and then we can just go for discuss for the lunch ठीक है and we can have the conversation ठीक है later ठीक है so yeah I'll wait for few more students to join ठीक है I'll see what I can do ठीक है I have a lot of things to cover ठीक है so I'll see based upon your understanding if you guys are able to do it ठीक है grasp the things in a quick manner ठीक है I'll push myself and do a few more questions ठीक है if not then we can cut it short and only the important things ठीक है let's see ठीक है based on your understanding ठीक है चलो I'll start in few minutes, setting up few things and let more students come as well. Okay. guys, let's get started. So today we'll be discussing. Just a second. Just a second. I'll be there. I'll be there. Let's get started. एक second. एक minute. Okay, I'm sorry. I was setting up few things. Cool. So guys, today, as promised, again, I hope you guys didn't waste your Saturday. Okay, there was no test. Okay, so I hope you guys didn't waste your Saturday. And so today we'll be learning cues. And like, how did you spend? Like, do you guys care to share how was your weekend? Anyone? Saturday क्या कहते हैं, because there's no test, so I'm just little thinking ki what you guys might have done. Hmm, can't see any responses. Great. So देखो, हाँ, दिवाली की सफाई I can see a lot. ठीक है, cool. So see, we have kind of started the uh, bit manipulation. Okay, so it's like we have done good amount of theory yesterday. Okay, just try to but I don't think the theory which you studied is sufficient enough to solve any assignments yet. Okay, because you guys just learned about the bits and about uh, how the number is represented and what are the operations you can perform in those numbers. Just till there you learned. Okay, but you guys didn't actually learn to access each and every bit and make manipulations and check if what manipulation is done in a particular bit, what will happen. Such type of knowledge is not, I'm not expecting you guys to have that yet. Okay, so it's fine. Okay, so just try to do your so if you guys are able to do the bit manipulation question, then it's great. Like if you're not able to do it, then also it's not bad. Okay, it's fine. Again, that you're not able to do it. Okay, just focus on the things that were backlog for us. Okay, like the things you were messing up and the assignment section, the homework problems which I gave you guys. Okay, so you can just focus on that for a while. Okay, if in the case you're not able to do it, but you'll definitely reach a point where you'll actually be able to solve the questions on bit manipulation. I can guarantee you that. Okay, with that, let's get started with today's class. Okay, so what I just want to learn ki what do you guys have the idea about cues? Matlab, what are your expectations from the concept of cues? Is my screen visible, guys? I don't think it's visible. Just a second. Yeah. So it's visible now. Hello. Yeah, last class is about bit manipulation. Okay, so we can wrap up. मतलब 3 घंटे बोलूंगा, but you know that how the class are going. We can take a 20-minute break, so it's effectively 2.5 hours only. Okay, today's class going to be. It's not going to be hectic unless if it is, then let me know. Okay, we'll work upon that. Okay, cool. Here is my pen, man. Why is everything today? Cool. Okay. So, like, guys, can anyone tell me? Just tell me what do you learn in stacks? What do you learn about stacks? What are the operations you can perform on stacks? Anything like that? है ना? एक बार बता दो, chat में बता दो. Unmute करने पे ज़्यादा time जा रहा है ना? Stack, push, LIFO, correct, ठीक है. So ठीक है. देखो, what you learned about stacks is what's today's date? 16 October ना. So, so we are learned about stacks, right? So what are stacks? You learned about stack is a data structure, right? Where you insert the data in such a way that it is last in first out, right? So you can visualize it as if it's a container where you're putting the elements, okay? Like 1, 2, 3 in that way, okay? And while you pop it out, okay? So you'll be getting it in a reverse order, right? So that's what you learned about stacks. Okay, you can understand the stack goal. You can. I hope you guys know how to create a stack, right? So did you guys try to create a stack, right? So like समझो कि like if you're implementing a stack, okay? So you have few operations like int pop, uh, void push, right? So you're basically whenever you're creating an object of a stack, you just assume it's a container and you keep on doing pushing the values and all, correct? Just create a item, okay? Just create a object of this stack, okay? And you can use it as if it's an actual container. You don't have to bother about the internal implementation because it's done once, correct? So you can write something like object.push to object.push 5 in that way. Agreed, right? So that's what stack is. Okay, so if you push 2, then 2 will be residing in this way, correct? And if you pushed 5, 5 will be residing on top of it. If you had pushed something else like 10, okay, 10 will be residing on top of it, correct? So if you pop it, okay, then if you try to pop and print it, SOP, matlab, system.out the printer, then you will be getting 10 as the answer here. Similarly, if you again pop it, you'll be getting 5 as the answer, right? It's in the reverse order. That's the reason we gave it this, like stack is known for this property, that is last in, first out, correct, guys? Correct? Yeah, like as someone mentioned, you can specify what are the data type you want to explicitly want in the string as well. If you put this, only integers will be allowed into the stack. Okay, so nothing else will be allowed, right? If you don't put these things, then anything will be allowed, even the numbers, even the strings, any object will be allowed. Okay, so that is the gist of stacks, right? Stack is like a data structure in which you push and pop the elements in whichever way you want. Okay, so I don't think they are different. Okay, empty and is empty. I think both of them will be returning the value true. Okay, yeah. So both of them will return the value true if at all the stack is empty. Okay, so that's about the gist of stack to revise your memory. Okay, and there are certain other methods like object is matlab, empty. Okay, if I try to do this, then it will return me a value false because there's one value, right? The pop will happen here. This is called pop operation, right? 10 got popped off, 5 got popped off, right? So when we did object.empty, then you will be returning the value false here at this moment because false is here because there's one element present in the stack, right? So after once again, if you pop, okay, for example, if you pop it again, right, then this will be also gone. Okay, then if you try empty, then you will be getting the value true, है ना? So that's how it is. Okay, So like that's about the stack which you learned. Okay. Matlab, there are certain other things like peak, size. Okay. So they are just a very trivial things, right? So and all the operations are happening in big of one time, right? Push operation will happen big of one time. It's obvious, right? You don't have to traverse any values, or you don't have to do any binary search or anything, right? So it is big of n only. Each operation is big of n, correct? So right now, we are going to learn something else. Okay, this is called queue. Okay. So what is a queue? Queue is a data structure similar, like it's a data structure like a stack, right? Um, okay, wait. We'll discuss that. Okay, just wait. Now we have, so we are going to learn something else that is called queue. Okay. So what is this queue? Okay. Just like stack is based on a property called LIFO, that is last in first out. You can see that the element that went inside, okay, 10 went inside at the last, but that is the element that is coming first. Agreed, guys? Hello, right? So that is the reason why it is having LIFO property, right? In the similar way, for queue, you have something called FIFO property. It means that first in, first out. Well, the value that went first inside the data structure is a value that is going to come outside the data structure. Right. So what happens in this first in, first out? Okay. So I hope you guys know. Okay. I hope you guys like uh, like seeing this word many times used in English, right? So if you're waiting for a booking, matlab, to book a tickets, movie tickets, okay, they say that get into the queue, right? What does the queue mean? Right, a person will be standing. The person who is at the front will be receiving his ticket. Ticket. This will be the queue, and the person who has like who's standing at the last will be standing at the last. Correct. Right. So after he leaves, okay, then like he's the first person who has entered the queue. So only he will be serving first. Okay. So that is what first in is the first out. This guy will be out. Then a new person will be joining from the back. Until these people serve first, then only this guy will be served. Right. So this is a classic example of queue which you see. Right. So it's a similar thing. Okay. Queue will also be looking in a similar way. Okay. So where you can see that insertion is happening at the end. This is a data structure. Assume it's a data structure where insertion at the end and deletion at the front, right? So there are two places where the object is being removed or added, right? Unlike stack mein kya ho raha hai? Like you can see that addition is happening at this end because this is a top position, right? Deletion is also happening at this end. Agreed, guys? Agreed. So this top, like this is the only end where the intersection and deletion is happening in stack, right? But contrary to the LIFO, you will be having insertion at the end and deletion from the front. That is what queue is. Okay. So if you want me to tell the practical applications of queues, okay. So like right now, you're programming like I mean, your computers are working multi-programming, right? There are multiple threads that are working to serve the any process. Okay, any process that is being given to the computer. Okay, if you open the task manager, there are many processes that are running, right? So let's assume if your processor is having only one core, matlab, like there's only one processor, only one process can be served, right? So assume ki like how are these processes served, right? They need to be a data structure where they are stored, right? It's not that कि जैसे तुम processor को दे दोगे it will serve and give you. No, it's not like that, right? So if there are multiple processes but there's only one processor, these things wait in a queue. This is the first process, this is the second process, third process होगा, फिर उसके बाद fourth process होगा, right? So like it's a FIFO data type, right? So like these things come under the process scheduling. Right? So what is process scheduling? You will be like, so this process, so this will be taught in computer science actually. Okay? So how queues are used to schedule the processes, right? So for example, if you take the basic processing scheduling like FCFS, okay, it means that first come first serve, right? So this scheduling algorithm says कि जो process सबसे पहले कॉल हुआ जब तक वो खत्म नहीं होगा, ठीक है, तब तक दूसरा पे कॉल नहीं करेंगे. This is the one of the basic process scheduling algorithm, right? So there are multiple process scheduling algorithms, and everywhere queues are the main part, ठीक है, because there need to be a way where like our processes need to be like arranged or served in a particular manner, right? So if you keep calling to a particular server, okay, so they will be making your calls in a queue, okay? तो एक के बाद एक जो सबसे पहले कॉल किया that process will be executed first. You can't use a stack there. ऐसा नहीं होगा कि जो पहले तुम कॉल किया वो सबसे लास्ट में execute होगा. That is a wrong thing to do, right? Because the second process will be dependent on this, right? So that's how it is. So this is one of the algorithms. There's another algorithm called round robin, right? In round robin, this guy also uses a queue where the processes are scheduled in this way. Okay, process will be removed, okay, one after the other. They are served for some time, okay, for some quantum of time, okay, queue time के लिए it will be served, okay. It doesn't matter if in this queue time it got served, मतलब ये complete हो गया कि या नहीं, ठीक है. अगर नहीं हुआ, so this will be removed from here and it will be attached at the back, right? So that wait time कम हो जाएगा सबका, मतलब ऐसे नहीं कि this process will be taking the whole time, right? So these are one of the practical applications of queue. जैसे कि स्टैक का प्रैक्टिकल एप्लीकेशन मैं बोलूं कि अगर तुम फेसबुक खोला, राइट, फेसबुक से कोई ऐड दिखा, यू क्लिक ऑन दैट, ठीक है, और या फेसबुक से कोई मिंत्रा का ऐड खोल दिया फॉर एग्जांपल, आई एम जस्ट से, ठीक है, मिंत्रा से यू जस्ट वॉच सम लाइक कोई गूगल मैप्स खोल दिया, राइट? सो लाइक इमेजिन उसके बाद इफ यू वांट टू गो बैक, यू क्लिक ऑन द बैक बटन, योर कंप्यूटर रिमेंबर्स दिस थिंग्स, राइट? योर कंप्यूटर रिमेंबर्स की कौन सा ट्रेस था तुम्हारा, लाइक मैप से you'll go back to Myntra, you'll go back to Facebook. ऐसे नहीं कि you'll go back directly to home, right? So like this is one of the example of stack. Don't you guys agree? Right? वैसे ही like the everything you see around your world, ठीक है, are based on such data structures, ठीक है, maybe more complicated data structures, I agree. ठीक है, इतना simple नहीं है कि stack और queue जो 100 years पहले बना है कि you are making the application of that. There's some modification, there's some upgradation, definitely, but these lay the foundation of every application you see around you, ठीक है. जैसे मैं अभी बताया था, every processes will be using these queues to schedule their algorithms, right? So this is one of the classic example of practical application of queue. Queue, guys, are you getting it? So like going into depth of these algorithms are not control Z, correct? Undo operation that uses stack, right? Undo operation goes for stack, it doesn't go for queue, right? So जैसा requirement है वैसे data structure use करो. Stack क्यों? क्योंकि for example if you made a change x, उसके ऊपर you made a change y, if you made a change z, if you do undo, you want to go back to y, you don't want to go back to x, right? For that reason you use stack, correct? But if you're making call to someone, ठीक है, मतलब call to some server, right? You need to put one request to it and later then other request, because you're putting it in a sequential order, right? So only this need to be solved first to access this, correct? That is the reason why we use queue. Agreed? Yeah, ये सब यार, right? So that's what I'm saying, ठीक है. So queues मतलब basically ऐसा समझो कि the order will be maintained in the order which they are being pushed in, ठीक है, the same order they'll be coming out, ठीक है, unlike the stack, ठीक है. So like let me generalize this, ठीक है. remove at front होता है and insertion at back, right? Addition at back, you can call it. Okay, you can write it in whichever way you want, but this is how it happens. There are two places where the insertion and deletion are happening, unlike the stack. This is the first thing I want to mention. Okay, guys, is this clear till now? Shall I move forward? कुछ और डाउट्स है अभी? कुछ भी डाउट्स है? मतलब इन जनरली आज हम जो बातें करते हैं लोग यूजुअली वो नहीं किए, right? So अगर कुछ करना है, we can talk about that before we move forward, before we go into the actual technical stuff. डिलीट कैसा होता है? डिलीट कैसा होता है शुभ? व्हेन यू पॉप द एलिमेंट फ्रॉम द स्टैक, ठीक है, डिलीट कैसा होता है बताओ? करेक्ट, वैसे होता है, राइट? सो या क्यू इज अ I'll tell you, ठीक है, queue is definitely a interface, ठीक है, which is implemented by a class, which will tell you. But right now, starting से, I want you guys to implement it once, ठीक है, at least एक बार implement. Did you guys implement the stack on your own? Anyone? Yeah. So I hope you guys did that, right? कि stack में कैसे push करता है, right? Like which implementation did you do? Did you do the array implementation or linked list implementation? Both. Great man, great. ठीक है, तो like which one did you find more useful? Array वाला अच्छा लगा या linked list वाला अच्छा लगा बताओ? Array कौन बोल रहा है? अच्छा लगा, ओके, अच्छा लगना नहीं, कौन सा बेटर है ये बताओ? लिंक लिस्ट इज बेटर, राइट? तो अच्छा लगा तो, हाँ अच्छा लगा तो अरे ही है, क्योंकि उसमें कुछ नहीं करना, यू विल जस्ट मेंटेन वन टॉप वाला वेरिएबल which you will be moving front and back when you push or pop, correct? But linked list better क्यों है ये बताओ? Dynamic size, that is the thing that is coming in my mind, right? तुम्हें नहीं पता कि स्टैक में मैक्सिमम कितने एलिमेंट्स जा सकते हैं, नॉट ऑलवेज यू कैन नो इट, करेक्ट? सो लिंक लिस्ट में ऐसा होता है कि like based on your requirement a new node will be created and then it will be attached, correct? Right, right. Deletion easy है, that's chill, ठीक है, and like even in stack deletion is easy. So implementation में, like according to me, linked list is little complicated because you need to work with all the reference variables and all, but that is the good thing because like overflow condition नहीं होगा, because you know कि जितना मेमोरी है उतना मेमोरी बनाता जाएगा, राइट? द न्यू नोड विल बी क्रिएटेड एंड इट विल बी अपेंडेड, राइट? लेकिन स्टैक, इफ यू गो फॉर द अरेज, राइट, अरेज में फिक्स होता है, इफ यू से दैट 100 एलिमेंट्स कैन ओनली गो, इफ यू वांट टू पुट 200 एलिमेंट्स, समझ लो रिक्वायरमेंट ज्यादा हो गया, ठीक है, तो यू कांट यूज दैट, राइट? बिकॉज इट्स नॉट स्केलेबल, करेक्ट? राइट, सो दैट्स हाउ इट इज, ठीक है? So ठीक है, let's continue with the implementation of queue now. ठीक है, if you guys have any doubts, we can take them up before we start. Anything? Linked list implementation is not done. Can you implement it once? Are you sure, guys? Linked list पढ़ाया नहीं था तुम लोग को? It's done, right? Simple man. Like linked list का implementation बहुत simple है, right? So linked list में you don't have to create a linked list object. तुमको ये करना है कि you need to create a node object and you need to maintain that reference का variable which will be the top element, correct? So if you move forward, then you will be appending creating a new node and appending it forward, correct? So that's how it is, ठीक है? एक बार देख लेना, ठीक है? If you find it still more difficult, I'll send you my lecture as well, ठीक है, जिसमें linked list का implementation कराया था, ठीक है? Okay, cool. We'll do that, Vibhuti. ठीक है? ठीक है? तो चलो, let's continue. So you guys realize what queue is, what's deletion and insertion is, where applications of queues, right? Real life applications of queues. उसके बाद आता है कि you learned applications of stacks as well as a bonus. right? Yeah, sure, we'll do that. Okay. So there you go. See, now you learned. I told you queues can be implementation of queues. Okay. How do you implement a queue? Okay. But like you need to create a class queue. That is first part. है ना? You need to create a class queue and कुछ like you'll be creating a interface and all. ठीक है. Okay. Like what I can feel is कि these things could be done in two ways. One is using arrays and other one is using linked list. ध्यान से सुनना अभी. ठीक है. Just like we did it for the stacks, right? Correct. Let me just say. ठीक है. तो arrays use करके एक बार let's try to think. ठीक है. Arrays के लिए similar to stack we need to define what are the number of elements that are present. At max 100 elements होंगे. I just defined it. ठीक है. ऐसे right? So this is how we have it. Okay. So like how do we implement it? Stack to simple the just one pointer. Okay, it will move forward. जैसे जैसे insert हो रहा है and it will move backward if at all deletion is happening. Correct? How do we do it? यहाँ पे as I told you the difference between stacks and queues कि the way the insertion is happening at only one end. ठीक है? Stack के लिए it is only happening at one end, right? Top पे हो रहा है, right? यहाँ पे you have two ends, right? One will two pointers को maintain करना पड़ेगा, right? That is one of the thing, correct? So let me just take two pointers, namely front and end. ठीक है? So I'm just saying, ठीक है? एक बार देखो arrays के साथ problems देखना क्या क्या. एक तो fixed size है, इससे ऊपर नहीं जा सकता, ठीक है? Let us assume I pushed one element, ठीक है? One को push कर दिया, ठीक है? One will be here, ठीक है? So both of the front and end, both of them will point here. Agreed, guys? Just see this thing. Front and end, both of them are pointing here. Okay, this is the front and this is the end. Let us assume I want to push another element. Okay, 2. See, I'm inserting at this position and I'm getting it from this position, right? So if I want to insert another element, okay, I need to do this thing. Okay, I need to increment the end pointer. I won't change the front pointer because this is supposed to be the front value. So end will be pointing here. Correct? एक और value push करना मुझे 3. End will be pointing here. Just see this, guys, how it is working. Okay. So do you guys remember कि कैसे stack में भी like the same thing is used to happen, but front there is nothing called front that used to maintain what is the first value, correct? सब देखो. Now again if I want to insert one more, ठीक है 4 हो जाएगा ये, right? 4, so it will be pointing here, right? So are you guys getting it how like how we are noting it which is first and which is last? Chalo, now I want to delete the element. Okay? I want to remove this element. How do I do it? So I need to make the changes at front, right? Guys, बस ठीक है जैसे टॉप में करते हैं you just do front plus plus. This is gone. Now my queue is only this 2 3 4. अगर एक और element delete करना है you do this again. ठीक है 3 and 4, correct? So in that way you will be doing it. Are you guys getting it? Right? So just see and tell me what are the problems are. Just see, like you guys understood the operations, right? Okay, instead of one pointer there will be two pointers. One will be denoting the first element and the other one is denoting the last element. Okay, and like just elements बढ़ा रहा हूँ, you'll do n plus plus and put it that element. Okay, if you want to delete that element you'll do front plus plus, correct? Right? So just see what are the problems here. One problem, same problem to have, right? The same problem with the fixed size array wala, right? Array wala problem है, right? The second problem is see, even though there are only two elements left, okay, they are not in the front two. These two can never be reused. like they are there just because we have used and left them. Okay, they can be never be reused. Do you guys agree with this thing? Correct. So this deletion is not free. Okay, stack में कैसे होता था? Like stack में, if you remember, let me go back. देखो stack में कैसे होता था? You'll be used to have one array. ठीक है, you used to maintain one top variable जो पहले -1 को pop करता था. The moment you're pushing, you'll do top plus plus, and then you'll do ARR of top equals to some value like 1. ठीक है, तो ये यहाँ पे आता था and it will be 1, right? So like if you want to do it again and again, top plus 1, so it will be 2 here, it will be 3 here, in that way. If you want to delete these elements, you'll just do top minus minus. So it will be gone, right? And if you want to insert it again, I can reuse the space. See, this is deleted, but I can reuse the space. If you want to insert it again, this will be reused. Do you guys agree with this thing? Correct? But that's not the case with here. If you deleted it, you can't, like the insertion is not happening at front. So front won't move in this direction, right? Only end will be moved. So to tackle this, लोगों ने सोचा कि कुछ सर्कुलर लिंक लिस्ट की तरह बना लेंगे, like जब end maximum position पे चला जाएगा, it will tend to come back here to use it. ऐसे से कुछ attempts बना है, but still the major problems will remain the same. ठीक है? So that is the reason why we'll adopt linked list for this, because linked list में you can easily insert. अब भी एक node बनेगा and it will be inserted. That node will be reused. Correct? If at all it is deleted. Correct? So let me implement it using linked list. So चलो guys बताओ linked list use कर कैसे करते हैं? Linked list मतलब nodes, right? तो हाँ मान लो कि मैंने class node बना दिया, whatever, right? एक node बना दिया, right? So initially I just need to maintain two things, right? One is friend, which is a reference variable to a node, and rare, which is both of them are initially referring them to null. Let us assume I want to insert a node. ठीक है, तो insertion के time पे ठीक है, I'll just check कि if front is equal to null and back is also rear is also equal to null. In that case, I'll just create a node. ठीक है, create कैसे करेंगे? Node temp equals to new node. So whatever the values, n value, whatever the values, right? So उस value के साथ you found it, right? उसके बाद this particular node, ठीक है, this particular node को, right? You'll just point all these things. ठीक है, front equals to temp and rear equals to temp. मतलब एक temp node बन गया, ठीक है, which is pointing to null, ठीक है, and front and rear both of them are f and r, दोनों ही इसको point कर रहे हैं. Correct? Guys, agree करते हो इस बात पे? Right? Only the base case. This is the base case first base case. ठीक है? If you want to insert an element, ठीक है? If you want to insert an element, तब क्या करोगे? Right? Again the same thing. You create a node. I've created a node. ठीक है? Now, like since this guy, ठीक है, since r is not equals to null, इसका मतलब it is not empty list, right? So what you will do is temp नहीं r मतलब rear, ठीक है, rear dot next is equal to temp. You have created another node, ठीक है, you created another node and rear dot next will be pointing to this particular node instead of null, ठीक है, and then I'll make rear also point to this. Correct? Don't you think guys these steps are correct? rear को भी point करा दो इसमें. If rear equals to null, in that case you will do this thing. Else, if rear is not equals to null, we'll create a node. We'll make the rear dot next point to this particular value and then make this update. ठीक है, तभी हमारा queue इस प्रकार से है, right? So you'll be having rear here, you'll be having front here. ठीक है, now let us assume कि एक और value आ गया 3. The same thing, rear dot next is temp, rear dot next is temp, ठीक है, and rear is equals to temp, right? You got inserted, right? You inserted the same element into the queue. Are you guys getting how the insertion is happening so seamlessly? देखो जितना जितना length चाहिए हो रहा है उतना उतना like it's being allocating and it is declaring it. करेक्ट। तो चलो डिलीट की बात करते हैं। सो दिस ऑपरेशन इज this operation of adding the element into the queue is called enqueue. So it's a canonical name, ठीक है। enqueue का मतलब ये नहीं कि like q dot enqueue ऐसे कुछ नहीं होना, it's a canonical name, ठीक है। मतलब it's a symbolic name कि enqueue का मतलब है add element to queue, right? So this is how it is, right? So let's talk about deque. Don't confuse it with the deque, ठीक है। So it means that removing element from queue. This is called deque, ठीक है। इट्स अ कैनोनिकल नेम, ठीक है। ऐसा नहीं कि q डॉट dq करोगे, ठीक है, ऑब्वियसली। तो इसमें क्या करोगे, लाइक इफ यू हैव अ क्यू लाइक दिस, ठीक है। इफ यू वांट टू सी व्हाट इज द फर्स्ट एलिमेंट, ठीक है, क्या करोगे, यू विल बी व्यूइंग एट द फ्रंट वैल्यू, राइट। क्योंकि फ्रंट मूव नहीं हो रहा जब व्हेनेवर यू आर डूइंग, सो व्हेनेवर द पीक ऑपरेशन इज बीन कॉल्ड, यू विल जस्ट रिटर्न फ्रंट डॉट वैल्यू, करेक्ट guys? Hello? Obviously you'll make a check कि front is not null, ठीक है। तो लेकिन दिस इज हाउ इट इज डन, राइट। चलो पॉप, लेट्स टॉक अबाउट पॉप ऑपरेशन, मतलब पॉप ऑपरेशन या पोल ऑपरेशन बोलता है, ठीक है। रिमूव ऑपरेशन, लेट्स टॉक अबाउट रिमूव ऑपरेशन। हाउ इज दैट डन? हाउ इज दैट डन गाइस? तो इसके बाद ध्यान से देखना, लाइक ट्राई टू थिंक, राइट, या करेक्ट। सो रिमूव ऑपरेशन, इट माइट बी लुकिंग वेरी सिंपल कि फ्रंट इक्वल्स टू फ्रंट डॉट नेक्स्ट, दैट्स करेक्ट टू सम एक्सटेंट, ठीक है, 60% इट इज करेक्ट, ठीक। इफ यू डू दैट, front will be pointing here and this is lost in the space, this is gone completely, right? मतलब ये चीज को like we don't even have to think, क्योंकि garbage collector will be taking care of it, ठीक है। but there are certain cases, ठीक है। as I told, we always make this sanity check कि stack में भी while implementing, if you remember, we'll be checking कि top का -1 तो नहीं है कि हम remove कर रहे हैं, right? such things of so sanity checks need to perform, ठीक है। so I'll just try to check कि if फ्रंट इज नल, इसका मतलब कोई वैल्यू है नहीं, कहां से निकालेंगे, राइट। सो आई जस्ट रिटर्न डायरेक्टली, दिस इज वन थिंग। एग्रीड गाइस, है ना। समझ लो हमारे पास एक ही पॉइंटर है, ठीक है, लाइक फ्रंट इज पॉइंटिंग हियर एंड रेयर इज आल्सो पॉइंटिंग हियर एंड इट इज नल, राइट। सो व्हाट आई एम सेइंग इज इफ यू डू दिस थिंग, ठीक है, फ्रंट विल गो हियर, ठीक है, एंड रेयर विल बी हियर, बट क्या ऐसा होना सही है? नो, राइट। तो अभी क्या होने वाला है कि अभी लाइक इफ यू सी एक और एलिमेंट ऐड हो जाएगा एंड लाइक दिस नॉट द सेटअप, राइट सेटअप, राइट। सो you can make this thing point to here, but this is not actually deleted because rear is also pointing to it, correct? तो इस केस के लिए like if there's only one element and if you're trying to delete that element, ठीक है, and like you're supposed to delete it completely, right? Rear should not point to it, correct? So what I'll be doing is कि I'll be just checking one more time कि if front is equals to null, मतलब after deleting if front is equals to null का मतलब है कि there was only one element and that got deleted, right? तो इस केस में what I'll do, I'll just make rear also null. Is this making sense? Hello? ये तो बेसिक, लाइक बहुत बेसिक है गाइस। सी इट्स लाइक कि यू आर जस्ट टेकिंग फ्यू ब्लॉक्स एंड यू आर जस्ट बिल्डिंग लाइक लेगो की तरह, राइट। सो यू कैन सी कि यू जस्ट नीड टू प्रेडिक्ट कि क्या क्या केसेस हो सकता है। एक केस मैंने प्रेडिक्ट कर दिया, नो एलिमेंट्स, ठीक है। एक केस मैंने प्रेडिक्ट कर दिया एलिमेंट्स, एक केस मैंने प्रेडिक्ट कर दिया वन एलिमेंट, वन एलिमेंट में मेक एवरीथिंग नल, राइट। एलिमेंट्स में डोंट डू थिंग, जस्ट डू दिस, ठीक है। कोई एलिमेंट नहीं है तो जस्ट रिटर्न इट, ठीक है। सो ऐसे सोचना पड़ेगा, लाइक इफ यू आर परफॉर्मिंग एनी ऑपरेशंस, ठीक है, व्हाट आर द पॉसिबल स्टेट्स दैट कुड बी प्रेजेंट, ठीक है, एंड फॉर ईच स्टेट यू विल बी राइटिंग अ स्निपेट ऑफ कोड। इज दिस मेकिंग सेंस गाइस? हेलो? You can do that. Rear equals to rear dot next पे कर सकते हो, even that is null. ठीक है? So you can do that. Not a big deal. But at the end, I want to see rear and front, both of them null. If at all there are no elements. Rear और front दोनों ही null होना चाहिए. If at all there are no elements, ठीक है? अगर elements है, ठीक है? तो like front will be pointed to the front value and rear will be pointed to the rear value. But अगर null है, then I can say that कि front and rear दोनों should be pointed to the value, new value. Correct? So this check I'll be doing when I'm inserting. ठीक है? So while inserting, I'll just check कि if rear is equals to null or not. ठीक है? If rear is not equals to null, I'll just add it direct away. But if at all it is null, ठीक है? In that case, I'll be just creating a new node and making the node point like front point to node and rear also point to that node because both of them are null. ठीक है? अगर rear null है तो दोनों ही null होंगे. Correct? क्योंकि rear का भी null ही हो ही नहीं सकता unless front is also null. Is this making sense, guys? So this is how you implement it. Agreed? करके दिखाऊं? You want to do the problems? ठीक है? तो क्या बोलते हो? Do you want me to code it on the GFG or not? It's not very difficult. हाँ? Code it करूं? ठीक है? If you are insisting, then I'll code it. It's not a big deal. Let me just remove all these things. And okay, cool. Let me just create a like I wanted to create a node. Okay, so let me just create a node. So this guy will be just having a value, and this guy will be having a reference to the next node. Correct. So let me just create a constructor as well. Constructor will be taking the value, and it will be initializing the same value here. ठीक है, बस इतना ही है. ठीक है, उसके बाद क्या है? उसके बाद I'll be creating another class that is called Q. है ना? Quickly कर रहा हूँ यार. It's not. I don't think it will take time. ठीक है, front एक हो गया and back एक हो गया. Right? You can call it as rear. Right? So both of them are initially null. ठीक है, obviously. ठीक है. But let me make things like कि void add ऐसे. है ना? So if you want to add a value, ठीक है, with the value n, ठीक है, so I'll just check if rear is equals to null or not. If at all rear is null, मतलब there are no elements, right? So in that case, I'll just create a I'll just create a temp. ठीक है, I've created a node, ठीक है, with the value of n, ठीक है, and what I'll do, I'll just make front as well as rear. So this is exactly what I was writing in the PPT, right? ठीक है, it's just that like I'm just putting it in a in this particular method. So if rear is not null, the else case, even then I'll create a node, ठीक है, that's inevitable. So let me just do this thing outside this thing. Say, let me just write it outside. Okay, so that every guy can do this. Okay, अगर if this says wrong, okay, in that case, I'll just make the rear dot next point to the temp. मतलब we have added a new value. Okay, rear dot next is pointing here, and rear will be ultimately pointing to the temp only directly because rear should be pointed to the last value. बस हो गया, add हो गया. Right. Let me just mark them as private because I don't want anyone from the outside my class to change them. Correct. Only the methods, my methods will be changing them. Correct. ये हो गया add का. Let me just give a remove. रिमूव का, रिमूव का क्या होने वाला है, node temp equals to new node, right? So I don't have to create, I'm sorry, why did I create? Okay, so if at all it is a null value, like if at all it's I'm supposed to remove it, I'll just check if it's an underflow condition again. If front is equals to null, okay, in that case I'll just do nothing, I'll just return I need to return some value, right? Let me return -1 just for the case, okay? But else, okay, अगर front null नहीं है, in that case I'll just write front equals to, so else की जरूरत नहीं, बस it is getting returned. So front equals to front dot next, because you're moving ahead, okay? So if at all you moved ahead and if at all you see that front is now null, in that case ki matlab there's only one element and you deleted it, so make rear also null, varna like it won't comply with these things, right? So that's how it is, okay? And at the end you're supposed to return what is that value, right? So before deleting I'll just mark it as x friend dot value, okay? And let me just before exiting, okay, let me return the value of x. बस हो गया. This is how I prepared a basic implementation of queue, ठीक है? अगर तुम्हें peak भी करना है तो peak भी कर लो, ठीक है? Peak, right? If front is null, in that case don't do anything, return -1. I'm assuming -1 is not present, ठीक है? But it could be possible that ऐसा भी हो सकता है, right? So I can just print a value की I can just do some statements ki this queue is null, so don't do it, or something like that, right? So varna I just return whatever is the friend dot value. So this is how I created a queue, guys. Okay, so let me just create an object of this queue. Okay, and let me add some values like 1 queue dot add 2 queue dot add 4, okay, queue dot add 6, okay. So in this way I've added, ठीक है? उसके बाद I can just print whatever I'm getting. Q dot remove, ठीक है? Remove, बस remove. It won't take any arguments, right? It will be removing the top element. Doesn't matter what. ठीक है? Let me just print it for 3 times. ठीक है? And let me just see peak the last element and then delete the same element again. Bas, let me just run it. So this is one of the basic implementation of queue. You can see how easy it is, right? Let me just go up. You can see that you got 1, 2, 4, right? Then you can see why it is so you can see that peak, you're peaking the last element, that is 6, correct? And then you deleted that element as well, okay? So if at all I want to peak it again, okay, since there are no elements, okay, so I can just make this thing, instead of just returning -1, okay, I can just make this thing queue is empty, correct? So like by saying that I can return a value like this, okay? So let me run this again. You can see that after returning, okay, so after returning like I just printed a value, okay, you can do whatever implementation you want, right? So that's how you can do it, okay? But now you can throw this exception key data under value except underflow condition, you can throw an exception here or do whatever implementation you want. But this is how even I hope you guys know even how to write the stacks as well, right? So you'll be implementing it in the same way. You'll be creating a class which you'll be using it as if it's a data structure. Cool. Guys, shall I move forward? या फर्स्ट इन फर्स्ट आउट ही तो हुआ है ब्रो. ठीक है, फर्स्ट क्या था, 1 था ना फर्स्ट, सो 1 गॉट आउट. करेक्ट. इफ आई हैड यूज्ड स्टैक देन इट वुड बी अ डिफरेंट वे, बट रिवर्स आएंगे. करेक्ट. सो चलो लेट्स सी. ठीक है, तो लाइक व्हाट आर द ऑपरेशंस दैट आर अवेलेबल. ठीक है, सो यू हैव दिस थिंग कॉल्ड क्यू. ठीक है, so how is queue implemented in collections? ठीक है, let me tell you. So queue is an interface. ठीक है, I'm telling you. So there should be a class that have implemented the interface. ठीक है, so if you remember properly while I was showing you the linked list. ठीक है, ठीक है, so I can write like linked list is one of the class. ठीक है, that will implement the queue. It's not queue, new queue nahi likho. Queue is a interface. You can't instantiate an interface, right? So this is how you do it. You can, this is optional, you can put it or not put it. Okay, but this is how you implement a queue using collections. Okay, all the operations that are needed in the queue are implemented by the linked list. Okay, so you can just I'll put the code, no worries. You can just use this queue. Okay, you can use this object queue. Okay, to access it as if it's a queue. So what are the methods, you can ask me, natural thing. Okay, so there are two methods. One is add. Okay, as well as offer as well. Okay, these are the actual methods in Java for the enqueue operation. So enqueue is a general thing. It's not a language specific thing, correct? So you can do two things. You can write queue dot add. Okay, you can just say ki queue dot add file or whatever the value is, or you can do queue dot offer. What is the difference? Okay, so this guy. Okay, so this guy will throw an error. Okay, if at all there is no memory present to enqueue one more element. Okay, so these are smaller elements like integer, 4 byte lagta hai, right? So what if you're creating a queue which is of some GBs. Okay, each object is of GB, right? So there can be possible that like your system might run out of data, right? So this guy in that case will return null, but this guy will say ki nahi nahi nahi, तो like I'm gone, so I'll be returning an error. बस ये difference है. ठीक है guys. Guys, are you there? Hello. Okay. Shabin, see, there are two methods. You can do either q.5 or q.offer, right? Both the things will add it into your queue. Okay. But this guy, uh, so I'll just show you just a second. Okay. So let me tell you about the remove and poll, then it will be much clearer. Okay. देखो, you have something called peak, which will be returning the friend value. Okay. This guy peak, you know what peak is, right? Like in a stack, you will be getting the front value, top value. Here you will be getting the front value. The same way q dot empty. This will tell true or false. Return type true or false है. Correct. Q dot size. Integer का size देगा. What is the size of the queue? Correct. So I can just implement that thing as well. Okay. But for that I need to see. If you want to implement the size, how can you do it, guys? Can anyone tell me? Can anyone suggest me कि अगर मैं size चाहता हूँ, if I want a method here that is int size, how do I implement it? Can anyone tell me? Iteration करूंगा ऋषभ, that's correct. ठीक है. If you do that, it will become a big of n method, right, bro? If you traverse Sushmita, it will be a big of n method. Agreed? Bharat, you can't do rare minus friend plus 1 because they are not integers. They are reference variables. Correct. So I can iterate. Correct. You guys are all are correct, but it will give me a big of n. All operations. Okay, all these operations are supposed to be big of 1. Okay, everything should be a constant operation. ठीक है, इसके लिए तो I don't have any way unless I use another variable that is called size. So this guy size ठीक है, whenever you're adding, ठीक है, ठीक है, so he'll be added, मतलब he'll be incremented, ठीक है, whenever you're removing, this guy will be decremented, ठीक है, and whenever you're asking for the size, you'll be returning this size, ठीक है. Why am I creating a method for this? Why not? I can return, like, why can't I just do q dot size? Why should I make a method? Can anyone tell me? Correct or नहीं? Private है फिर anything else? Why can't I do? So what if I remove private? Private remove कर दूंगा तो I can do q dot size, right? Not understood. Okay. See, guys, देखो, I'm using a variable, ठीक है, that is size, ठीक है. So this guy, ठीक है, this is just a simple variable, ठीक है, which is having initial default value as 0, right? And whenever you're adding any value, इसका size you're just incrementing it. So this particular variable will denote what is the size of a queue at any instance, right? So if you access this thing in dot size, ठीक है, you'll be getting that size, ठीक है. I'll just show you, ठीक है. Let me just show you. Let me just take the size, okay, and let me just print that. Okay, let me just see this thing. Let me just do this every time. Okay. After every operation, right? And let me write one more thing. Removing. Okay, and let me just let me leave this thing. Okay, now let me just print and show you guys, okay, how it is working. Yeah, semicolon लगाना भूल गया. See, size was 4 initially. I removed 1. Okay. Size is now 3. I removed 2. Okay. Size is 2. I removed 4. Okay. Then size is 1. Okay. I printed 6. Still size is 1. See, I didn't remove this thing. So still size is 1. Okay. Then I removed 6. Now size is 0. So now when I'm trying to remove, then queue is empty. Sorry, bro. Are you guys getting it? How this is working? All right. Okay. So directly print q dot size. Why can't we why can't I do that? Yeah, why did I create a method like this? Why can't I do that thing as if Vibhuti is suggesting? Can anyone tell me? Can anyone tell me this thing? Hello? तो मुझे ये बता सकता है कि मैं ऐसे क्यों कर रहा हूँ? Why didn't I do q dot size? ये भी तो कर सकता हूँ. Not abstraction, capsulation to make it simple, deleted space, not used, private. तो private हटा दूंगा ना शिखर. अगर private ही problem आ रहा है, तो why can't I just remove the private? There's a reason now why I'm doing this. What is that reason? You should know that reason. Correct? Right? So it's not encapsulation, abstraction, ये सब तो ठीक है. The reason why I'm doing this thing is if I'm doing this thing, if I'm directly accessing the size, ठीक है, I can do that. ठीक है, मैं इसको private हटा दूंगा, then I can just do this thing. इसको private हटा दूंगा, so I can just access q dot size directly from there. ठीक है. The reason I'm not doing is कि अगर मैं private हटा दूंगा, any guy doesn't matter from where, he'll just do this thing, size equals to 5, even though the queue का size is not 5. ठीक है, he will say कि नहीं नहीं 5 size है तुम्हारा, like that will be assigned in this variable. Okay, which I don't want. I don't want anyone to modify my size unless these methods, correct? Add method and remove method. That is the reason why I put them inside these. Okay, just say, just say inside these things, just say like they will be only modified by start and add, and I can only access it. Okay. Now it is just returning the value. It is not like I can't do any modifications here. This is just a getter method. I'm just getting that value. I can't make modifications now. Correct. Whatever the size में answer है, I'm just returning that value. बस इतना ही है. Correct. Is this making sense, guys? Right. Encapsulation है. Right. But there's a reason for that. It's not just कि blindly पढ़ लिया तो करना है वो चीज, है ना? तो वो है, like if I make a set size, some method like void set size will take a value n, and if at all I do s equals to size, then this is called setter method. I don't even have this, okay, because I don't want anyone to change it. I just only have getter method. Correct. Right. So that's how it is. Okay. So वैसे ही like you have two more things as if q dot remove and q dot poll. Okay. These guys don't take anything. Okay. So similar to this. Okay. This guy अगर poll कर रहे हो, right? So he will return a null if at all there are no elements. Okay. But this guy will be throwing an error. अगर element नहीं है तो ये error throw करेगा, right? Underflow condition का error throw करेगा. So that is the only difference between these things. ठीक है. And rest is cool. ठीक है. So that's how this is the implementation of queues, guys. Okay. So let's jump into the questions. Okay. Just think about this question. I'm just giving this guy just giving 2 minutes of time. Again, I'll just drink some water. Okay. Meanwhile, read this question. I'm just sending it. Okay. We can discuss this question. Okay. Will do. Right. So if you want, I'll add a few questions from DQ. I mean from the queue. Okay. But just read this question once. Give yourself some time. सोचो कैसे करना है, ठीक है. See that you need to return a queue. You're getting a queue. ठीक है. 2 minutes time I'm giving. Read this question. क्या समझ में आया बताओ. ठीक है. And then we can continue. ठीक है. Guys, I'm back. So yeah, no. See, so this is one of the classic question for the LIFO. And sorry, here's my pen again. I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. So the question says, he reverse first k elements of Q. Acha. Okay, let me think. What does it mean? Let me just read the question once. Okay. Okay. So let me do it. Let me just teach it to the other people who didn't do it. Okay. So you're given a k value and you're given a q. Okay. Q is filled of values, right? We need to reverse the order of the first k elements in the queue, leaving the other elements in the same relative order. क्या मतलब है इसका? ठीक है? So like if you have a queue like this 1 2 3 4 5, ठीक है? And let me just write it in there. So let me just read the question completely. Okay. A standard operation. See, there's called something called NQ. Okay. It's not NQ. It's not ki Q dot NQ kar rahe ho, right? It's a canonical name. It's a general name. Okay. Irrespective of the language, right? So add element to the rear of the queue. DQ का मतलब है remove the element from the front of the queue. Size का मतलब है you know what size is. Front का मतलब है front item, right? So that's how it is. ठीक है. See, they told that the object of above operation represents the general processing. Inbuilt function of the respective language can be used to solve the problem. Okay? So let me just tell you what the problem is. You are given a queue. Okay? So you have this queue like this. One. So this is front. Okay? And this is rear. Okay? So you have queue like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? With the size of n. And you have a value called k. Okay? So the question says you are supposed to reverse the first k elements of the queue. What are the first k elements? They are these three, right? So I'll just show you. Okay. So it says that we need to reverse the order of first k elements, leaving the other elements in the same relative order. Iska matlab hai, you can see that the first three elements are these, right? So I'm supposed to reverse them in the queue only. Okay. So now I need to build a queue like this, reverse values. Matlab 3 यहाँ पे आएगा, 2 यहाँ पे आएगा, 1 यहाँ पे आएगा, and then these values are supposed to be the same, 4, 5, right? Although the relative order of all the other values will not change, okay? But these values are supposed to be reversed. Guys, DQ, don't confuse it with DQ. Okay? It is a different thing. We'll discuss that in a moment. There's something called DQ. Okay? There's something called DQ. Okay? Different है दोनों. Okay? DQ means doubly ended queue. DQ matlab removing the element. Okay? So don't confuse these two things. They are completely different. Right? So how to do this question, guys? Tell me. Yeah, what I can do? I can remove the elements from here. I can add the elements from here. What I can do? Try to think. Like, what are the objectives you have here? Don't send the code, man. I don't like sending the code. It will be acting as a spoiler. Kushagra, can you unsend it if it's possible? Don't send it from now. Okay? So let people think. That's what I want. Okay? So the logic is more important, guys. It's not the code. Okay? Code though, like if you can remember, then that's great. But it highly ये होने वाला है कि in the interview you might just remember कि I've done this question, but you definitely won't remember the code. Even I don't remember any of the code. ठीक है? मतलब इतना questions कर चुके हैं कि कभी-कभी याद हो जाता है मुझे code, but that's the reality. Even if you make me sit in the interview, I'll build the logic there itself. ठीक है? So I'll build the logic there itself. I'll deliver the solution there itself. ठीक है? So right now, what I'm thinking is how to. So what are the objectives here? We have 5 elements and we are supposed to shift these elements in the reverse order. Okay. So reverse order के लिए करने के लिए I know a technique, right? So what I can do is I can just keep on removing the elements. Okay. So I can put them in the stack. एक बार सोचो इसके बारे में. Can I remove the element? 1 यहाँ पे आ गया. I removed the element, 2 यहाँ पे आ गया. I removed the element, 3 यहाँ पे आ गया. Right? Now, if you pop these elements one by one, you will be getting this. ठीक है? You can get यहाँ से 3 आ गया, यहाँ से पीछे से आ गया, 2 यहाँ पे आ जाएगा, यहाँ से पीछे से आ जाएगा, and 2 यहाँ पे आ जाएगा. And don't you think, guys, कि whatever are left, I'll just pop them, ठीक है, and just insert them in this. Don't you think this is my answer, guys? Correct? Jyoti, is this clear? Is this clear for everyone? See, what I'm doing is, so let me repeat it. Remove k elements from Q and push it into stack. ठीक है, पहली चीज. ठीक है, स्टैक में पुश कर दिया. They are last in first out, right? So if you remove them one by one, ठीक है, they will be coming in a reverse order, right? So I'm just leveraging that fact of LIFO कि whatever you pushed, that will be coming in a reverse order. Making sense, guys? Right? So remove k element from the queue and push it into the stack, right? So this is the first approach that is coming into mind. Okay. Then क्या कर सकते हैं? Then you can do push like remove k elements from stack and push it into queue one by one. ठीक है, मतलब 3 को निकाला, like you pushed it, right? 2 को निकाला, you pushed it. 1 को निकाला, you pushed it. ठीक है. Third option is remove remaining elements, remaining k minus elements, k minus n minus k elements from Q to answer Q. Do you agree? Right. So what is the time complexity? Definitely you are accessing each and every element once. Okay, these elements are accessed twice. Okay, so you can just call it as big of n, or you can, if you want to be more precise, okay, since you are processing these k elements first and then pushing it here, and then you're processing again these k elements, so you, and then n minus 1, you can call it as n minus 1 time n minus k. Okay, to be precise, but I don't think it will be at the end n only. Correct? Even though k is n, even in that case it will be 2n, that is nothing but n, right? So you can call the time complexity as n. Okay. What is the space complexity here? Can you guys tell me? It is big of n, na? See, I'm putting it in a new queue, right? So I'm putting it into a new queue. So it is big of n plus k. You can call it more precise. You can call it as n plus q, because k is this one, right? Stack ka space. Agreed? Correct? Yes. Yes, Sagar. Okay. So this is the first approach that is coming into my mind. Definitely, big of n is acceptable, but big of n of space is also not acceptable, right? So interviewer might ask, can you reduce the space even further, right? So what I am thinking right now, एक बार सोचो इसके बारे में, कि you have a queue like this with k as 3. I'll just remove these elements one by one. Okay, put them into stack. ठीक है, मतलब एक एलिमेंट रिमूव करिए, put it. एक एलिमेंट रिमूव किया, put it. एक एलिमेंट रिमूव किया, put it. Right? उसके बाद what I am thinking is कि instead of going for a new stack, new queue, ठीक है, why can't I just push it inside the same stack, guys? बस सोचो इसके बारे में. Like I'll remove this and put it here. I'll remove this. I'll put it here. I'll remove this. I'll put it here. But the problem occurred, right? Because yeah, देखो, we wanted something like this. We wanted something like this, right? We want these values to be before this value. Relative position disturb ho gaya abhi. So then what I can do is, so whatever n minus k values, for n minus k values, I'll gonna go and I'll pop each and every element, okay, and push it again in the same queue in this way. Push it here. Don't you think yeah answer ban gaya hamara without using an extra queue? correct? So देखो what are the steps, ठीक है? Let me write it again. So remove first k elements from queue and put it in stack, ठीक है? You put it into stack, ठीक है? उसके बाद remove elements from stack one by one and put it to queue again, right? Now the relative order of these values and these values is wrong, right? So now what is the third step is remove n minus the first n minus k elements from queue and push it to queue again. You're pushing the same 4 and 5 back into the queue. It will be 3, 2, 1, 4, 5. That is what I want. At the end, जो भी ऐसा था 1, 2, 3, 4, इसमें first k elements got reversed and then 4, 5 got correct, right? So what do you think is the time complexity and space complexity here, guys? एक बार बताओ. It is big of an time complexity because you're traversing each and every element, right? You can call it a n plus k, but it's not no point. N is greater always. Okay. अगर k n तक भी पहुंच गया, even then it is big of n. Correct, guys? Right. What about the space? Tell me about the space. It is big of k exactly. It's not n anymore. क्योंकि you're not using any extra queue. You're using only a stack of the size k. Correct? है कि नहीं? Hello. Right? So this is the kind of optimization we have, right? So what you did, this is simple, right? You push the k elements, reverse them, and then remaining same elements को इसमें डाल दिया. Same जिसको यहाँ कर दो ना भाई. देखो इसी क्यू में कर सकते हो ना. इसको निकाल के उसके पीछे से डाल दो, right? Remove the element and just push it again back into this. How cool is that? Correct? But in the worst case, we are using a stack of size n. I agree with you, Sagar. Okay? But like you can like it's definitely an optimization because k is not necessarily equal to n, but you can just like since these are the attributes that are given to us in the question as an input, okay, we can use this to tell us the to represent the time complexity, okay. So you don't have to say it is big of n, it is big of k, okay. It depends on the value of k, right? It won't go more, it won't go less. Based on that particular test case, this will be the time complexity. So this is more tight time complexity, right? You can call it as big of n in a vague way, right? But that's not big of n. I can't think of any other approach as of now. Okay, matlab, like I need at least any of the thing, right, bro? Like I need to use at least an array to like 1, 2, 3 है. जिसको swap करने के लिए you can't like in a queue you only have one entry point, right? Right, one entry point है, so you can remove the first element. You can't remove this element and just put it and swap it and all those things you can't do. Only 2 point of contact. Either you remove it from here or you add it from here or you remove the elements from here. Agreed, guys? तो कोई ना कोई मुझे कोई वेसल चाहिए जिसमें मैं रख के कुछ ऑपरेशंस कर सकता हूँ, right? So I need an auxiliary space for this. So like I'm thinking, I'm not able to think. कभी वो क्वेश्चन देखते ही हमें लगेगा कि this can be done because we are using a redundant space. ठीक है, we'll feel that, but I don't think we are using any redundant space here. Is what I feel. ठीक है, ठीक है. So let me code it. ठीक है, it will be much clearer for you guys. ठीक है. So you have a queue, right? So I need to create a stack as well, correct? So like let me just figure out कि क्या क्या करने वाला मुझे, right? So it's going to be first I need to create a stack, right? Let me create a stack. Just a second. Let me just create a stack of integer type. right? And let me just write n equals to q dot size, right? And let me just run a loop. Okay, now I have n, right? I have k. So what is my first course of action, right? I told 3 steps, right? Where is my key? I'm sorry. What is my first course of action? That is to pick up first k elements. K elements को उठा के stack में डाल देना, right? So let me do that. Let me run a loop for k times. Let me run a loop for k times. And let me just remove the elements. Remove कैसे करूँगा? Q dot poll, if you remember, right? So I got this element. I'm removing element. Okay, I need to push it into the stack as well, right? So stack dot push. I'm putting this element into my stack. Correct? So guys, do you agree with this statement? This is correct, right? You're getting the value, you're pulling it and pushing it into the stack, and you're doing it for k times. Don't you think this is correct? Hello? Right? So दूसरा step क्या है? What is the second step? Okay, to remove these elements and push it into back into the queue from the back, right? So let me do that again. Let me run the loop, okay, till the stack is empty. Since stack is not empty, right, I can offer the element we got from the stack. st.pop is basically popping the element, right? We are popping the element from the stack and putting it into the queue again. Correct? Hello? Why not q dot remove? I told you guys, right? See, remove, poll, both are same. Okay, except the fact that if at all underflow condition aa jata, this guy will be giving me a error, right? But this guy won't give me error, right? So he will return me a null value instead of error. Is this making sense? Polling is done from the rear. Okay? Sorry, I'm from the front. I told you, right? Polling is done from here. Deletion from front and insertion from back. Okay, line number 61. See, in 61, see, you guys know, right? st dot push x. If you write the statement, you're just basically pushing x into the stack, right? So instead of this x, I put q dot poll, right? Which is the element coming from the queue, right? मतलब front में जो element है जैसे 1 2 3 4 है, right? इसमें से 1 I'm putting it here, so 1 will be pushed. इसके बाद 2 will be pushed. 3 will be pushed into the stack, right? Then I'm emptying the stack. ठीक है? I'm removing the element from the stack and pushing it into the queue again. मतलब 3 I'm putting it back into the stack. Into the stack again. 3 यहाँ पे, 2 यहाँ पे, 1 यहाँ पे. Is this making sense, guys? Hello? When add gives error when there is no space left to put it into the queue. That will happen if you're dealing with a huge numbers. Okay? Huge numbers in the sense huge data. यहाँ पे मैं integer object को डाल रहा हूँ. ऐसा हो सकता है कोई file को डाल रहे हो ना क्यों में? Right? So it is more safe to use offer and poll. ठीक है? Offer को understand it as add and poll को understand it as remove because these are more safe. ठीक है? अगर कोई problem आ जाएगा, these guys will just return the values of null and it won't throw any error. ठीक है? Cool. So now what I'm supposed to do? Now I'm supposed to run this. Now I'm supposed to see what happened now. Okay, you have a queue 1 2 3 4 5. You remove first k elements and put it into the stack. You remove these k elements again, pushed it into the queue. Right now, I need to remove the n minus k elements, whatever are left, and push it again into the queue. Correct. So let me write that thing as well. I can run a loop from 0 to n minus k and I plus plus. I'm removing the element from 0 to n minus k, and let me just offer the value, whatever I just polled. I'll just remove that value and I'm just pushing it into the queue again. Bas, ho gaya. And then I'll just return the same queue which I got. Correct? So this loop will run for n minus k times. I'm removing the element and I'm pushing it again into the queue. So it's like removing here and pushing it back again. Is it making sense, guys? Hello? What is pole and offer? Pole is like pop and offer is like push. Correct, Giriraj. He understood well. ठीक है? So मैं अभी काफी बार बता चुका हूँ ये चीज. ठीक है? Offer is like add, है ना? It's like push. लेकिन from the back, right? लेकिन pole is like pop, but from the front. ये दोनों को यूज करना आपसे. ठीक है? For the queues only. ठीक है? Stacks का it will be remaining the same. Let me compare and run. See, it is working. See, guys, 3, 1, 4 ऐसे काम कर रहा है ना? This is what I want. Let me submit and check. Moment of truth. Yeah, it is working for all the 121 test cases, and great, our code is working, right? So the time complexity is big of n, and space complexity is big of k because you're using a stack of size k. Correct? Is it making sense, guys? This code, I'll put it in the Discord. I'll put it in the in that particular doc. Don't worry. Okay. Again, are you guys understanding कि queue कैसे काम करता है? Everything regarding the queue. Guys, do you want break now? We did a good question of queue. Okay, but there is a very standard question which I feel you guys need to do. Chat में काफी ज़्यादा वो है. ठीक है, so let me explain that thing. ठीक है, we can take a break. ठीक है, क्योंकि I think most of you didn't it. ठीक है. Line number 67. Line number 67 में क्या हो रहा है? See, line number 67 में, ठीक है, understand it as you're pushing the value which has been popped. You're pushing the same value that you're popping from the same value. You can just, if you want to bifurcate it, like you can write it in this way. X equals to, okay, pole, and let me put X here. Like I removed that value and I'm pushing the same value again. Correct? Okay. Yeah, I'm there. I'm audible, right, guys? Okay. If you guys don't want break, then it's great. मेरे लिए अच्छी बात है. ठीक है. So let's do one more question. ठीक है. So the question says कि implement. So this is very standard question. मतलब ये universities में पूछता है. ठीक है. So implement queue using two stacks. Using stacks. Whether you implemented queue using linked list, you implemented queue using array list. Array. Right? Can you implement the queue using stacks? Is my question. Can you do it, guys? सोचो इसके बारे में, थोड़ा टाइम देता हूँ. 2 minutes. बाय ब्रेक, नो ब्रेक बोल रहा है तुम लोग. लेट्स सी यार, मतलब 3 बजे दे दूंगा या कभी ना कभी देना ही है. लेट मी क्रिएट अ पोल. ठीक है. Meanwhile, you guys think about that thing. Okay? So you guys learned about queues, right? You learned about how you implement the queue using linked list. एक बार सोचो, can you implement the queue using stacks? Stacks को use करके can you implement a queue? It's a question. It's an important question. Yeah, some hints definitely. ठीक है. This is FIFO, right? This is LIFO. एक बार सोचो, like 2 बार LIFO कर दिया तो ये FIFO नहीं हो जाएगा? Guys, try to think in that way. 2 बार LIFO कर दोगे तो FIFO नहीं हो जाएगा? ट्राई टू थिंक इन दैट वे। आई टेल यू, मैं पूरा सॉल्यूशन डिस्कस करने के बिना क्लास एंड नहीं करने वाला, ठीक है। बट एक बार सोचो तुम लोग खुद से, एक बार मैं थोड़ा सोचने लगोगे, लाइक जब मैं आंसर बोलूंगा इट विल बी मोर इफेक्टिव। Okay, there is another question. Yeah, implement queues using stacks. So let me put this question in the chat box as well. So may I have this question? ठीक है, सोचना थोड़ा सोच, लाइक थोड़ा सोच लगेगा इसमें। इट्स नॉट अ इंस्टेंट टाइप ऑफ क्वेश्चन, है ना, थोड़ा सोच तो लगेगा ब्रूस, बट you guys are supposed to do it. 2 मिनट, क्वेश्चन पढ़ ले एक बार। I'll teach the question. ठीक है, देखो, at the end you are supposed to create a class, ठीक है, like this queue with a constructor, with a push, with a pop, with a peek, with an empty, right? You're basically creating a class of queue, right? लेकिन ठीक है, the implementation won't contain node, यहाँ पे class node use नहीं करोगे, you'll be using a stack, ठीक है, keep that in mind। करो, सोचो इसके बाद। ठीक है, विल डिस्कस, डोंट वरी। एक बार सोचो थोड़ा, जो लोग नहीं सोचे वो लोग सोचो एक बार। Store elements in stack, but we'll ask him to behave as queue. Yeah, kind of, ठीक है। So let me just tell you, एक बार let me just write it in the question, ठीक है। So they say that you are supposed to create a queue का class which is performing all the operations similarly perform करना चाहिए। जैसे like अगर मैं इस queue में if I write queue में push करो 1 2 3 4 5, ठीक है, when I pop I need to get 1 2 3 4 5 only, ठीक है, that is the question, ठीक है। So it said that implement a first in first out FIFO, ठीक है, queue using 2 stacks. The implement should support all the functions of the normal queue, ठीक है, right? So normal functions पता है तुम्हें, right? And all these things, ठीक है। तो एक बार बताओ, like तुम लोग 2 लीफों को कैसे यूज करना एक बार सोचा? Did you guys try to think that? Okay. So did you guys try to think that? Hello? ठीक है। So let me tell you, एक बार ध्यान से सुनना guys, ठीक है। So you have a queue, ठीक है, queue is a stack, is a class right now, ठीक है। For example, कोई queue का push function कॉल किया, ठीक है, तो तुम्हें stacks यूज करना होगा लेकिन queue की तरह काम करवाना होगा, राइट। सो अगर कोई पुश किया, समझ लो 1 2 3 4 ऐसे पुश किया, तो मैं स्टैक में पुश कर लिया, एग्रीड, कांस्टेंट टाइम में हो गया पुश, कांस्टेंट बिग ऑफ वन टाइम, एग्रीड गाइस। है ना? Listen to me now. Now stop the discussion and listen to me now carefully. अभी भी डिस्कस करते रहोगे, फिर मिस कर दोगे, फिर वापस रिपीट करने बोलोगे, राइट? सो सी दिस. सो क्यू में कोई पुश करने बोलेगा, मैं सीधा स्टैक 1 में पुश कर, आई हैव स्टैक 1, आई हैव स्टैक 2, ठीक है? क्योंकि मैं बताया था 2 लीफो यूज करना चाहिए. अभी कोई समवन आस्क थी क्यू डॉट पॉप. नाउ आई वांट 1, but if I do s1 dot pop, then I'll be getting 4, which I don't want. Agreed, guys? मुझे like I want the 1, but there is no way कि I can access 1 here. है कि नहीं? What I can do this case? Right? Correct. So what I'll be doing is I'll be pushing the elements into the stack 2. मतलब s2 में pushed, यहाँ से उठाया s2 में pushed, यहाँ से उठाया s2 में pushed, यहाँ से उठाया s2 में pushed, ठीक है? Then I have 1 on the top of s2, right? So मैं क्या करूंगा, जैसे ये pop पूछा, like I'll copy all the elements, मतलब एक के बाद एक I'll run the loop, ठीक है? How I'll be running the loop, you know, right? While s1 is not empty, right? While s1 is not empty, ठीक है? I'll just s2 dot push, s1 dot pop, ठीक है? I will run this operation so that all the elements will be copied in this way, and they are in the reverse order. See this carefully. Then I'll pop the top element, s2 dot pop karunga. I'll pop the top element, right? Since the top element is gone, okay, now I have it in my way, right? But again, अगर मुझे वापस push करने बोला कोई 5 push करने बोला, it will be a problem, right? So I want to push it here. So I'll again copy all these elements back to s1. मतलब now s1 is in this way. This s1 same one. इसको यहाँ पे copy किया, इसको यहाँ पे copy किया, इसको यहाँ पे copy किया. Correct, guys? This is what I want, right? Just see this. ध्यान से देखना, ठीक है? You have s1 in this way, 1 2 3 4. When someone called pop q dot pop, ठीक है? You want this stack, ठीक है, s1 to be converted into this stack, ठीक है? You want to remove the first element. Do you guys agree? Hello? है ना? So I wanted 1 2 3 4 to become 2 3 4, but I have no way to access this last element, so I copied all the elements into s2, ठीक है? Where I'm having it in this way, reverse हो गया, LIFO का reverse हो गया. I'm popping the element, giving that element 1. फिर उसके बाद I'm again copying, I'm removing all the elements again back into the stack so that it is back in this way. Don't you think this is working? Again, whenever the guy wants to push, he'll push one more value. यहाँ से like constant time में the push is happening in constant time, है ना? Push is happening in a constant time. कोई push करेगा तो 5 वापस आ जाएगा यहाँ पे, करेक्ट? अगर रिमूव करना है वापस सेम चीज, ठीक है? तो पॉप इज टेकिंग बिग ऑफ एन टाइम. डोंट यू गाइस एग्री विथ मी? गाइस एक बार बताओ इस चीज का, मेकिंग सेंस? तो चलो अभी लाइक नाउ I have this stack. एक बार बता रहा हूँ, ठीक है? The calls will happen in any random way. You can't say कि ऐसे हो ऐसे हो, right? So अभी मुझे peak करना है, ठीक है? This is stack 1. So I'll just write q dot peak. I want to see this element. I want 2 to be written. मैं ये कैसे करूँगा? Again, I only have access to this particular top, right? Because it's a stack. So again the same thing, ठीक है? I wanted stack to be in this way only. There's no change. I'm just picking. So I'll just put it into s2, all the elements. रिमूव करो 5 आ जाएगा यहाँ पे, एक और रिमूव करो 4 आ जाएगा, एक और रिमूव करो 2 आ जाएगा, एक और रिमूव करो 2 आ गया. लेट मी रिटर्न दिस 2. उसके बाद वापस 2 को वापस डालना, 3 को वापस डालना, 4 को वापस डालना, 5 को वापस डालना. करेक्ट? डू यू गाइस एग्री विद दिस थिंग? So what is the time complexity of this thing? Big of n again, right? Only push is very what I can say, is little that guy, है ना? Constant टाइम में साइज कैसे q डॉट साइज कोई पूछा तो क्या करूंगा? नेक्स्ट टेल मी, को q डॉट साइज पूछेगा तो क्या करूंगा मैं? हेलो, हाँ स्टैक का साइज s1 डॉट साइज, s1 का जो साइज है वही स्टैक का साइज है। और empty को पूछा तो आई जस्ट चेक कि व्हाट इज स्टैक 1 का साइज। सो लेट मी जस्ट कोड इट डाउन, ठीक है? इट विल बी वेरी क्लियर फॉर यू आफ्टर आई कोड इट वंस, ठीक है? सो एज आई सेड आई नीड टू क्रिएट 2 stacks, right? So these stacks are going to take an integer, right? So these stacks are going to take integers s1, and let me take another stack s2. So s1 equals to new stack. So here in the constructor all the memory allocation happens, correct? s2 equals to new stack. Do you guys agree till me, till here with me? See, whatever I'm saying वही कोड कर रहा हूं मैं, ठीक है? पुश करना है तो मैं क्या करूंगा, s1 डॉट पुश x। क्या ये सही है गाइस? क्या मैं वही कर रहा हूँ जो मैं बोल रहा हूँ? Is this correct? हेलो भाई, तो अभी देखो, पॉप करते वक्त, पॉप करने के लिए आई नीड टू रिमूव ऑल द एलिमेंट्स फ्रॉम s1 एंड पुट इट इनटू s2। फिर s2 का टॉप एलिमेंट पॉप करना होगा, उसके बाद वापस सब एलिमेंट्स s2 से निकाल के s1 में डालना होगा। डू यू एग्री विथ दिस? राइट, सो लेट मी डू दैट। लेट मी रिमूव ऑल द एलिमेंट्स फ्रॉम s1, ठीक है? लेट मी रिमूव ऑल द एलिमेंट्स फ्रॉम s1, ठीक है? Let me remove all the elements from s1 and put it into s2. Okay? So let me just pop all the elements and put it into s2, correct? उसके बाद whatever the value is, I need to return this value, है ना? So s2 dot top पे I have the value which I want, right? So I will save it somewhere. Now again the same thing. I'll remove all the elements from the s2 and push it into s1. s2 dot pop. Is this correct, guys? And at the end, let me return x because this is the element which I want. Agreed? Guys, is this correct? Is this code correct? This is what I told you, right? Like I'll remove all the elements into and put it there. ठीक है, ठीक है, चलो सही है। पीक का बता दो जल्दी जल्दी। पीक का भी सेम है। Let me just copy it and paste it. Instead of just popping it, I'll just peek it. Agreed? Hello? हाँ, अगर empty है तो I'll just return s1 dot empty. अगर s1 empty है तो ये भी empty है, right? Now my particular queue जो मैं बनाया है, it is working exactly like queue, even though it has been implemented using stacks. This guy is good, correct? ठीक है? So this will be accepted. This code will be accepted. See, just look at this. कि कैसे leave this. देखो, object will be instantiated and object में elements push करेंगे, ठीक है? फिर pop करेंगे, फिर peek करेंगे, फिर सब check करेंगे, right? How it is working, right? So let me submit and check. It is working, correct? It is working, right? But this is correct. Interviewer is happy with you, okay? But he will say, "Ki bro, your push operation is constant, okay? It is constant. Your peak operation is costly, okay? Your pop operation is also costly. But what my algorithm is going to do is, it is going to use pop a lot, peak a lot, then push. क्योंकि मेरे पास ऑलरेडी एक समझ लो एक क्यू है, ठीक है? उसमें मैं ज्यादा पॉप ऑपरेशन बनाने वाला हूँ, तो आई वांट पॉप ऑपरेशन टू बी cheap, right? So this is a cheap operation, right? It is not taking much time. This is a costly operation, right? So to remove one element, you need to traverse all the elements. Not traverse, you're basically removing the elements, right? So it is a costly thing, costly affair for me. Can you make any solution? Like, I agree that the solution is correct. Can you make a solution where my push operation, like pop operation and peak operation, are less costly than this? Can you do that? That is the question that is asked to me in the interview. मतलब अगर पूछा गया तो ठीक है, तो क्या करोगे इसके लिए? कुछ और सोचना पड़ेगा यार. मतलब हमने सही प्रोडक्ट बना के दिया, लेकिन लाइक धोखा हो गया हमारे साथ. करेक्ट. ऑप्टिमाइज करना होगा. सोचो कैसे ऑप्टिमाइज करेंगे. सोचो थोड़ा देर के लिए. I'll give you some time to think. Peak one variable replaced with latest. हाँ, peak के लिए you can use a variable. Correct, महेश. ठीक है. Like what महेश says is कि एक variable रखो जो peak को donate करता रहेगा. ठीक है. और peak, लेकिन pop का problem है ना. pop मुझे costly नहीं चाहिए, तो उसके लिए क्या करोगे? Don't push the elements. See, मैं ये सोच रहा हूँ कि pop मुझे costly नहीं चाहिए. इसका मतलब क्या है? ठीक है. अगर मेरा क्यू में 1 2 3 4 है, if you want to pop the element, मतलब ये टॉप पे होना चाहिए on the stack. Correct. मतलब data should be stored in this way. Do you guys agree with me? Right. So in this way, pop operation is very cheap. Correct. यहाँ पे when I'm popping it from here, it is removing, right? So अगर मेरा stack में if the data is stored in this way, then it is a cheap operation. Correct. But how to store it in this way, guys? अब बात मत करो, अभी चैट मत करो. Listen to me now. हो गया, तुम लोग को टाइम दे दिया. ठीक है. Listen to me now. ठीक है. So if I want the pop to be cheap, I want it to be in this order. Correct. Like now the pop operation is very cheap, right? I can just remove the element in this way. I can just remove the element in this way. Correct. It is constant time हो रहा है. Correct. But if you want this to be in this way, ठीक है, push के लिए क्या होगा? Push के लिए, if you're storing this element into this, if someone called push 5, then it is supposed to be in this way. 1 2 3 4 5. Pop became easy, but push became difficult. But even now I'm not able to figure out कि ये कैसे करूं. How do I do this? How can I make push go to the bottom instead of going on the front? If I push it directly, right? So this is exactly working like an क्या बोलते हैं इसको, Q, right? देखो इसको Q नहीं लग रहा है. Correct. So देखो, if you're pushing it, it is attaching at the end. Pop करो तो like pop है, it should be present in this way. 2 3 4 5, right? So you're just popping the top element. Correct. So if you're popping the top element, then it is gone, right? Like you are doing it in a constant time, right? But to do this, again, you'll take the use of stack. What you're going to do is you're popping all the elements one after the other. कैसे? ऐसे 1 2 3 4. Pop the element, push it into the S2. This is S2. Pop the element, pop the element, pop the element. Now इसमें push the element. Now it is 5 4 3 2 1 S2. Now वापस सब एलिमेंट्स को हटाओ और S1 में डाल दो. Don't you think after such series of operations, S1 में जो 1 2 3 4 है, it has become 1 2 3 4 5, guys? Giriraj, how it is different is कि see, while pushing, ठीक है, while pushing you're doing the changes, ठीक है, while pushing an element, ठीक है, so I'm putting 1 2 3 4, I've created it a reverse, then I'm pushed the element 5, ठीक है, 5 यहाँ पे आ गया, and then I'm again pushing it back to S1. Okay. Now the push operation is costly, this big of n. But can you see the pop operation and the peak operation are very cheap now? It is a trade-off. Like either you make this guy more costly or you make this guy more costly. जैसे एक बार ध्यान देना, देखो, I wanted pop operation to be cheap. उसके लिए the data needs to be in this way, 1 2 3 4 की तरह, जिससे मैं pop करते ही ऊपर वाला एलिमेंट उठ जाएगा, राइट? तो स्टैक में ऐसे ही होता है, करेक्ट? पॉप पुश पॉप करोगे स्टैक में, it will be gone in a constant time, and that is what I want for the queue as well. I want this to be constant, right? लेकिन बट इसको कांस्टेंट करने के लिए ऐसे स्टोर करना पड़ेगा. So how do I store this? ठीक है, उसके लिए I'll copy all, I mean I'll pop all the elements from one stack and put it into the stack 2. Then I'll push the element and then I'll pop all the elements from the S2 and then push it back to S1. Correct? Let me do it from the scratch. ठीक है, तो चलो हमारा क्यू है empty queue. चलो हमारा दो empty stack भी है, right? S1 and S2. Push one element. ठीक है, so what I'll be doing is कि I'll be pushing it directly into the S1. ठीक है, now मैं क्या करने वाला हूँ? नहीं, ऐसा नहीं करने वाला, राइट? What I'm going to do is I'll push it into S2, ठीक है, and then I'll copy this back to S1, ठीक है. Now one more element, 2. Now what I'll do is I'll kind of remove this element and push it into S2, ठीक है. फिर ये 2 को मैं S2 में पुश करूंगा and then back again, 2 and 1. Is this making sense, guys? Now let us, now my stack 1 is having these elements, stack 2 is empty. I'm pushing one more element, 3, ठीक है. तो मैं इसको यहाँ पे डाला, इसको यहाँ पे डाला, 3 को इसको ऊपर डाला, then again back to S1. 3 यहाँ पे आ गई, 2 यहाँ पे आ गई, 1 यहाँ पे आ गई. Is this correct? Now pop is very simple. You just need to do S1.pop, right? Size is also very simple now, but it is just that your whatever the elements on S1 are, you copying back to S2. You push that value into S2 and then copy all the elements back to S1. So let me write it down. Okay. Push all elements of S1 to S2. Push new element to S2. Third option ये होगा कि push all elements from S2 to S1. ये push के लिए, pop के लिए directly pop the S1, and peak के लिए also directly peak the S1. Is this little different from the previous one or not? Tell me. है कि नहीं? ये बंदा बिग ऑफ एन हो गया, लेकिन हमारा जो क्लाइंट है उसको चाहिए कि पॉप, मतलब पुश ठीक है, पुश ज्यादा टाइम ले कोई बात नहीं, लेकिन जल्दी जल्दी पॉप होना चाहिए, है ना? लाइक दैट्स व्हाट ही सेड कि जल्दी जल्दी पॉप करके दे दो. पुश करने के लिए बहुत टाइम है हमारे पास, लेकिन पॉप करने के लिए इतना टाइम नहीं है, हमको फटाफट चाहिए. तो वी रोट अ कोड लाइक दिस. हाँ, कुछ पाने के लिए कुछ बोलना पड़ता है, राइट? नाइस. सो दैट इज इट. So let me just remove all these things, man. Now it is simple. Push के लिए let me just write it as S1 dot pop, है ना? And peak के लिए also I'll write the same thing. S1 dot peak, right? Empty के लिए S1 dot empty. सब सही लग रहा है? ठीक है. Right? लेकिन push के लिए you can't do just S1 dot push. अभी I told you, right? I need to remove all the elements, whatever are present, from the stack 1 and push it into stack 2. Okay. And let me push it into stack 2. Remove those elements and push it into stack 2, right? So stack 2 में सब आ गया. अभी मैं stack 2 में I'll be pushing my elements. Thanks. ठीक है, stack 2 में push करना चाहता हूँ. ठीक है, stack 2 में push कर लिया. Now back to stack 1 करो सब. अब हो गया तुम्हारा काम का था. वापस दो सब elements के साथ. Right? It will be stack 1 dot push stack 2 dot pop. and let me return. कुछ नहीं करना, return कुछ नहीं करना. So let me return a void statement. Is this making sense, guys? I'll share all the code, man. Code हाँ मैं code भेजूंगा, ठीक है, कोई नहीं. Submissions निकाल के भेज दूंगा. Let me run the code and check. S1 क्या है? S1H. Let me submit it. You can see that it got accepted. It is working. But if you carefully read this solution, यहाँ पे ये लिखा है, can you implement the queue such that each operation is amortized big of 1 time complexity? In other words, performing n operations will take n over time if even if one of them take much longer. इसका मतलब ये है कि अभी मुझे एवरेज ऑन एवरेज मुझे बिग ऑफ 1 चाहिए सब ऑपरेशंस ऑन एवरेज. आर्मोटाइज का मतलब ऑन एवरेज मतलब n ऑपरेशंस है, बिग ऑफ n टाइम लग रहा है, ठीक है. मतलब जरूरी नहीं कि हर कोई बिग ऑफ 1 नहीं लग रहा है, राइट. सम गाय माइट टेक n by 2 but all the other guys might take 1 1 1 that way, but at the end I want everything to be big of n. On average I want everything to be big of n. तो ये सॉल्यूशन भी फेल हो गया हमारा. Solution 2 is correct, but right, I want on average everything big of 1. We are not initializing S1. We are not initializing S1 in push. Then how S2 fill? I didn't get you, Shikhar. Where is that? कहाँ कर रहे हो bro? कहाँ push कर रहे हो? कहाँ क्या बोल रहे हो? Do you want to get unmuted?
हेलो सर.
शिखर बताओ.
सर ये पुश फंक्शन में आपने कंडीशन लिखी है ना while s1 डॉट एम्प्टी सर.
कहाँ पे? यहाँ पे?
सर ये पब्लिक सर ऊपर सर पब्लिक वाइड पुश में सर. यस सर यहाँ
पे?
सर वाइड पुश की सेकंड लाइन सर, नाइन्थ लाइन.
अच्छा यहाँ की बात कर रहा हूँ.
यस सर. सर यहाँ पे s1 कहाँ पे फिल गया सर अपन लोग?
हाँ सॉरी S1.
s1 अभी इंसर्ट नहीं कराया ना सर. s1 में वैल्यूज इंसर्ट नहीं करवाए ना सर.
ठीक है S1 खाली है पहले.
यस सर.
ठीक है तो S1 खाली है तो this won't run because it is empty, correct?
यस सर.
So directly S2 में पुश होगा. 1 पुश हुआ S2 में और S2 खाली होके इसमें आ जाएगा. 1 में आ गया. एग्रीड?
यस सर.
ठीक है यहाँ तक समझ में आ गया. तो अभी
यस
देख,
सर.
अभी नेक्स्ट वैल्यू पुश करना चाहता हूँ 2. ठीक है इसके लिए S2 S1 को खाली करके S2 में भेजना पड़ेगा, फिर 2 इसमें पुश होगा, फिर ये खाली करके इसमें आएगा. एग्रीड?
यस सर.
बस यही. लाइक फर्स्ट टाइम पे लाइक nothing is there to copy, so directly S2 में push होगा. अगली बार से you have the elements, right? So those elements will be copied.
यस सर. इट्स क्लियर. थैंक यू.
Okay. ठीक है. Can we use an array? नहीं यार array use नहीं करना चाहिए. अगर array use करोगे तो ये question you are implementing the queue using arrays, right? No, you should only use queues. ठीक है. Think about it. कैसे करोगे? I'll give you a hint. ठीक है. Try to think in this terms when you're copying it here. ठीक है. तो एक बार सोचो, कॉपी करने के बाद like you're copying it back, right? Try to think कि यहाँ से कुछ फायदा मिल सकता है without copying it back. Like maintaining 2 stacks just to store 1 array. ऐसे कुछ कर सकते हो क्या? सोचो. I'll tell you this solution. ठीक है. ध्यान से सुनना पड़ेगा तुम लोग को. ठीक है. 2 मिनट टाइम दे रहा हूँ. Try to think it in this way. Stack 1 है, stack 2 है. इसमें कुछ डाला, उसके बाद उसको वापस लेके आने की जरूरत है कि नहीं? नहीं लेके आया, समझ लो 1 2 3 4 है. ठीक है. And if you want it again 3 2 4 1, okay, you pop the elements. What's the point of bringing them back? Let them be there only. If you have any other element, 5 को यहाँ पे लेके आ जाओ, 6 को यहाँ पे लेके आ जाओ. Let them be here only. Okay, whenever you're popping, just pop it in this way. Whenever you're pushing it in this way. It's like maintaining 2 stacks. Correct? Try to think it. Try to think this way. एक बार सोचो इसके बारे में. I'll be back. I'll just go to washroom and I'll be back in 2 minutes. ठीक है. But meanwhile ये चीज सोचना, and then we'll come back and we do few more questions and then we can wrap it up for today. ठीक है? Guys, I can see that break का जो है, like I can see it is 50-50 and break जिसको चाहिए वो ज़्यादा actually 52% है. So what shall we do? Like many people left as well. बताओ. 15 minutes break लोगे? ठीक है, सुनने का अगर इतना अच्छा है तो I'm fine with that. ठीक है. I already had my lunch, so it's fine for me. Okay, चलो. Okay, let's continue this thing. ठीक है, let's continue what we have been learning. ठीक है. So now, अब देखना, ध्यान से देखना. ठीक है. Now मैं ये बोलूँगा कि whatever the values are coming, ठीक है. देखो, अब ध्यान से देखो. Let me just remove all these things. So I hope you guys thought something. ठीक है. अगर नहीं सोचा तो ठीक है. दोबारा पढ़ लेंगे. Right. So the third approach is amortized below of 1. Right. ठीक है. तो एक बार सोचो इसके बारे में. ठीक है. तो like for example, values है नहीं. ठीक है. जैसे किसी ने बताया we can maintain a friend variable. Let's keep that aside. You are pushing values one after the other. मैं बोलूंगा जैसे जैसे मिल रहा है एक स्टैक में डाल देना. S1 में 1 2 3 जितना भी मिल रहा है 4 मिला तो 4 को डाल दो. पुश का ऑपरेशन became push is constant. पुश का टाइम कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी is constant. Agreed. अभी देखो ध्यान से. ठीक है. Now listen to me carefully. The moment someone says pop करो. ठीक है. पुश तो ये कर ही रहे थे हम पहले फर्स्ट अप्रोच में. राइट. वी आर पुशिंग इट इनटू S1. पॉप करने का टाइम पे विल मेंटेन वन मोर क्यू दैट इज S2. ठीक है. I'll remove all these elements from here and push it one by one into this. ठीक है. I agree. शांत हो जाओ, सुनो. ठीक है. Now I'll pop this element. One guy. Now instead of just copying them back again to S1, I'll just let them stay there. वही पे रहो, अब तुम्हारा वही जगह है. So I'll just do this thing. I've just let them guys be there. ठीक है. One guy, only these values are there. Right? So now if someone is pushing the values, as usually I'll push it into S1. As usually I'll push it into S1, S2. अगर कोई पॉप बुलाएगा, ठीक है, I'll just do it from here only. अगर वापस पॉप बुलाए 1 हो गया, पॉप बुलाए 2 हो गया, pop बोला है 3 हो गया. I'll just pop it from here only. Can you see that? अभी pop का operation is also big of 1, guys. I know that पहले वाले में पूरा कॉपी करने के लिए थोड़ा टाइम लगा. I agree with you guys. But from now, do you guys agree कि big of 1 लग रहा है इसमें? Correct? It's like refilling. मतलब इस टैंक से उस टैंक में रिफिल कर रहे हो, ठीक है? तो समझ लो एक और बार पॉप कर दिया, right? It got emptied. पूरा empty हो गया, ठीक है? Now वापस रिफिल करना होगा उसको, right? तो वापस like again मतलब अभी नहीं, अब एक और वैल्यू पुश हो गया इसमें, पुश होने दो, ठीक है? तो नाउ अगेन अगर कोई अभी भी पॉप कॉल किया, then you need to push them again back into S2. Then I'll push them back into S2. कैसे? ऐसे, right? 8 यहाँ पे आ गया, 7 यहाँ पे आ गया, 6 यहाँ पे आ गया, 5 यहाँ पे आ गया, right? So ये पूरा खाली हो गया, S1 is खाली पूरा, S1 is पूरा खाली, but S2 is filled, ठीक है? Now if you want to pull again, it will be taking big of 1 time only, correct? तो इसमें जो भी values है, it will be going in this way. So in this way, ठीक है? In this way, but maintain 2 stacks, ठीक है? But not repeating back. It's not like कि 1 2 3 है, ठीक है? Stack में इसको मैं वापस डाला, ठीक है? 1 2 3 हो गया, फिर 1 गई, फिर इसके बाद वापस डाला, तो 2 3 हो गया, right? It's not like that. For every pop, I'm not doing big of n time, ठीक है? I'm just making it do only once big of n. उसके बाद बाकी सब के लिए it is just big of 1, right? क्या ये अप्रोच सबको समझ में आया? Right? If this guy becomes empty, फिर उसके बाद इससे कॉपी करना पड़ेगा. Till then I can use it. अब तुम सोचोगे, सर पुश करोगे, सर पुश करोगे, पुश पुश, ठीक है? वैसे से पुश कर लिया, ठीक है? समझ लो n टाइम्स पुश कर लिया, ठीक है? सब बिग ऑफ n टाइम लगेगा बिकॉज एवरीवन इज बिग ऑफ 1, करेक्ट? तो सर अभी आप पॉप करने के लिए एक बार भी दिस गाय विल टेक बिग ऑफ n टाइम. आई एग्री सर कि बाकी सब बिग ऑफ 1 लग रहा है, ये सब बिग ऑफ 1 है, राइट? दिस इज बिग ऑफ 1, दिस इज बिग ऑफ 1, दिस इज बिग ऑफ 1, एवरीवन इज बिग ऑफ 1, ठीक है? But this guy is taking big of n time, right? So how many operations are there? These are n operations, right? Till the end. Guys, just listen to me now. Yet big of, there are n operations that are happening. ठीक है? उसमें से one operation is having n and everyone is having 1 1 1. ऐसे these guys are n minus 1, right? And by n, क्योंकि average चाहिए मुझे, यहाँ पे देखो 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus, in that way n ones हो गया, by n हो गया, तो everything is big of 1 in this case for the push, correct? यहाँ पे average के लिए one guy is taking big of n time, all the other are taking big of 1 time, तो n minus 1 लिखा मैंने, right? n minus 1 लिखा, ठीक है? now यहाँ पे देखो, now it will be big of 2n by n, that is nothing but big of 2, ठीक है? because every element need to be pushed there, so it is constant. Do you guys agree with the statement? This guy might be taking big of n time, but all the other are taking big of 1 time because of him. जिसके वजह से सुनो ध्यान से, जिसके वजह से on average for n values it is big of n, big of 1. Do you guys agree with this? और सुनो, अभी तुम पूछोगे कि ऐसे हो गया कि समझ लो कि n by 2 वैल्यूज ही हुआ, उसके बाद ही पॉप करना पड़ा, ठीक है? वो भी कर लेते जी, n by 2 वैल्यूज ही है, like n by 2 में ही someone called pop function. तो what does this guy take? big of n by 2 लेगा, उसके बाद समझ लो जो भी होगा, पॉप होगा, पुश होगा, whatever. But the next pops till n by 2 pops will be constant. Do you agree? फिर उसके बाद ये n by 2 exhaust होने के बाद the next pop will be called, it will take big of n by 2. But this guy, it is taking n by 2, but it will make other n by 2 guys, ठीक है, as big of 1. Do you guys agree with this? ठीक है? It's like कि n by 2 plus 1 ऐसे n by 2 तक हो गया, उसके बाद एक और n/2 आ गया, एंड इवन दिस गाय इज आल्सो 1 1 1 1 बाय n, इट इज आल्सो बिग ऑफ n। एक और बार सोचो, एक बार पुश किया, पॉप किया, पुश किया, पॉप किया, तो अब सोचोगे कि हर एक एलिमेंट बिग ऑफ एन लगेगा। तुम बोलोगे कि नहीं नहीं, अच्छा अब तो फंस गया सर कि हर एक एलिमेंट में पॉप हो रहा है तो हर एक एलिमेंट बिग ऑफ एन नहीं हो रहा। सी जस्ट लुक एट दिस, कि पुश करोगे इट विल बी स्टेइंग इन वन, राइट, वन ऑफ द स्टैक। व्हेन यू पॉप इट, यू आर जस्ट कॉपिंग दैट एलिमेंट इनटू द डिफरेंट स्टैक एंड जस्ट कॉपिंग इट, राइट। सो ओनली वन एलिमेंट है, सो इट विल टेक बिग ऑफ वन। मतलब बिग ऑफ टू है डेफिनेटली, बट इट्स बिग ऑफ वन, बिग ऑफ वन, बिग ऑफ वन। दिस इज द बेस्ट केस, करेक्ट। मतलब दिस इज द एक्चुअल न्यूट्रल केस। एक्चुअली जब सब लोग एवरेज, ऑन एवरेज इट इज टेकिंग बिग ऑफ वन ओनली। अब ईच एलिमेंट भी इक्वली टेकिंग है, बिकॉज हर एलिमेंट जब तुम पुश करोगे इट विल गो इनटू S1, it will be pushed to S2 for popping and then popped out, correct? It is taking 2 steps, correct, but it is equal for everyone. So now also it is big of 1. Is this making sense, guys? क्या मैं एक्सपेक्ट कर सकता हूँ कि तुम लोग ये कोड कर सकते हो? अभी करो, ठीक है? 15 मिनट दे रहा हूँ, जिसको ब्रेक नहीं चाहिए अभी कोड करो। मैं आके फटाफट कर दूंगा कोड, बट अभी तुम लोग करो कोड मेरे लिए, राइट? और जब मैं वापस आऊंगा टू द पीपल हु आर डिडंट कोड, दे विल डू इट, बट दिस इज अ वेरी गुड क्वेश्चन, ठीक है? एंड जो लोग कोड कर दिए, आई विल गिव यू वन मोर क्वेश्चन, implement, this is a homework question for everyone, implement stacks using queues, guys. Shikhar, see, if you want me to explain one more time, just see this, okay? So it's like key, this is empty, okay? You're refilling it, okay? Every time you want to push an element, you'll just tightly push it into the stack one. The moment you want to pop it, you'll just see if S2 is empty or not. If it is not empty, okay, I mean, if it is empty, then you'll push all these elements into the stack too, because they will be in the reverse order and you'll keep on popping it, okay? Once a pop operation, it might be costly, it might take some n/3 or n/4 or n/2 jitna bhi lega, but the next pop operations, okay, they are constant because of this guy, correct? So in one array, you're not maintaining the whole property, you're just maintaining two separate stacks where you're maintaining this thing, correct? तो एक बार सोचो इसके बारे में, थोड़ा सोचो, whatever I explained, ठीक है? Shikhar, you wanna get unmuted? It would be great if anyone wanna get unmuted and be very specific about your doubt.
हेलो सर।
हाँ शिखर।
सर एक्चुअली मेरा डाउट ये है कि मतलब सर ये समझ में नहीं आ रहा है कि हो क्या रहा है सर इस केस में। सर
तुम बताओ क्या समझ में आया?
सर मुझे बस इतना ये समझ में आया कि स्टैक 1 में कुछ वैल्यूज आती है सर, so 1 2 3 4 5 then we fill it into stack 2.
नहीं, we won't fill it unless pop is being called.
Yes sir, when
हाँ.
pop is called sir.
Pop is called, तुम ये देखोगे कि S2 खाली है कि नहीं। अगर S2 खाली है तो तुम S1 से लेके सब S2 में डाल दिया।
Yes sir.
ठीक है, तो अब देखो, चलो एक बार लेट्स टॉक लाइक यू, ठीक है? तो तुम एक क्यू बना दिया, ये एक्चुअल क्यू है, जस्ट बी माइंडलेस अबाउट व्हाट्स हैपनिंग इनसाइड। आई शो यू व्हाट्स हैपनिंग इनसाइड, ठीक है? अब देखो, चलो तुम पुश करो या पॉप करो, जो करना करो, मैं करके दिखाऊंगा कैसा हो रहा है, ठीक है?
Yes sir, S1 में पुश हो रहा है 1.
नहीं, S1 में नहीं, क्यू की बात करते हैं। क्यू में कैसे पुश हो रहा है, क्यू में कैसे पॉप हो रहा है?
सर पुश तो सर फ्रंट से होगा सर।
फ्रंट से नहीं, बैक से होगा, सॉरी। अरे कैसे हो रहा है मतलब? You call the functions, man. You call the functions. Push swap functions.
Yes sir, yes sir, yes.
Call करो। One
sir
push
q
किया।
dot push sir.
हाँ, q dot push one किया, push, ठीक है?
Yes sir.
So I'll just push it in this directly. q dot two push हुआ, I'll push it directly. अब बताओ क्या करो, pop करो या push करें एक और element?
सर पुश करते हैं सर, 3 और पुश करते हैं।
हाँ, 3 push कर दिया तो हो गया। See, you are seeing that everything is happening in constant time, ठीक है?
Yes sir.
Now अभी क्या करूँ बताओ?
सर पॉप करते हैं।
Pop करूँ तो क्या आना चाहिए? 1 आना चाहिए, और हमारे क्यू में ये बचना चाहिए। Agreed?
Yes sir, yes
तो
sir.
1 आना चाहिए, ठीक है? देखते हैं। Now when I'm popping in my implementation, this is empty, this guy is empty.
Yes
So
sir.
I'll pop all the elements and push it here, all the elements and push it here, all the elements and push it here. तो ऐसे दिखेगा। उसके बाद I'll pop the top element of S2.
1, yes sir.
बस इतना ही है. Like I won't copy them back. Now you can see that it is in this way. देखो 2,3 है, इसमें भी 2,3 है. ठीक है, अभी
Yes,
क्या
sir.
करना चाहते हो? अभी पॉप करना चाहते हो या पुश करना चाहते हो?
सब पुश करते हैं सर 4.
ओके, यहाँ पे पुश होगा, यहाँ पे नहीं होगा. इन S1 you will be pushing. हाँ,
अभी सर पॉप करते हैं तो 2 पॉप होगा सर.
2 पॉप होगा. यहाँ पे भी देखो 2 पॉप हुआ, यहाँ पे भी देखो 2 पॉप हुआ. If you are working as like it is working exactly like a queue, right? So, but
Yes, sir.
this guy might have taken 3 steps because to copy it, but this guy just take 1 step, correct?
Yes sir.
तो अभी क्या करूँ बताओ?
Yes sir. अब सर अगर हम ये 2 पॉप करने की जगह 4 पुश करते तो सर ये तो बिल्कुल ही चेंज हो जाता ना.
2 पॉप करने की जगह क्या करेंगे?
4 पॉप करते सर.
4 पॉप कर ही नहीं सकते ना. You can only access the top front element ना. You can't pop 4.
Yes, okay sir. Now it's clear.
है ना? So
Yes.
you'll only do the pop operations in S2. You'll do the push operations in S1. Implement करके देखो ये. You can implement it. 15 minutes time implement करो या 10 minutes 15 minutes. ठीक है, we'll be back. ठीक है, जिसको और करना है do this, try this question. This is a homework question. I'm not going to explain it. I can give you hints. ठीक है, this is also same question, similar question है, लेकिन यहाँ पे stack implement करना है use करके. तो तुम्हें LIFO करना है FIFO यूज करके. ठीक है, तो ये भी सोचना एक बार. ठीक है, बट इसको इम्प्लीमेंट करो. ठीक है, कोड करके दिखाओ मुझे. उसके बाद विल डू वन मोर क्वेश्चन. ठीक है, उसके बाद आई टीच यू DQ एंड देन वी कैन रैप द क्लास. ठीक है, गो अहेड. 10 minutes break. Hello. Oh, great, man. Great. You guys did it. Great. So, guys, I'm back. Are you there? Hello. Right. So, so, so yeah, I feel that, kind of learning anything for 3 hours or just teaching anything for 3 hours, it's not the right thing to do. Like, I used to take classes 3 hours for the batch 14 as well, but I feel that giving breaks adequately is the only thing that will like kind of relax your mind and increase your uh, grasping power. Yeah. So that's the reason. Yeah. So I think you guys are pretty much cool, right? Like, do you want me to code this? How many of you want me to code this? Just raise your hand. Shrikar wants me to code it. Anyone else? I want strength. जितने लोग हाथ उठाएंगे, I think I can see only one person raising the hand. ठीक है? Okay, Shrikar, just unmute yourself.
Yes, sir.
Did you try doing this?
Yes, sir.
मतलब क्या हुआ? क्या प्रॉब्लम है?
नहीं सर, मैं सिर्फ वो कंफर्म करने के लिए कोड के लिए बोल रहा था।
अरे देखो, सिंपल है, मैं बता रहा हूँ कि पुश में तुम डायरेक्टली पुश कर दोगे, राइट?
यस सर।
पॉप में लाइक चेक करना कि S2 एम्प्टी है कि नहीं। अगर एम्प्टी है तो पूरा ही कॉपी करो, मतलब कॉपी नहीं, पॉप करके पुश करो S2 में, फिर S2 में पॉप करना, ठीक है?
यस सर।
और पीक करते वक्त भी सिंपल है, और सिंपल करने के लिए, ठीक है, पीक के लिए यू कैन यूज अ वेरिएबल, ठीक है, ठीक है, एंड इफ एट ऑल S1 is empty at that time, just push that variable inside the front, ठीक है? एक फ्रंट वेरिएबल मेंटेन करना, अगर S1 empty है और पहली बार कुछ वैल्यू डालो, जस्ट अपडेट दैट वेरिएबल एज फ्रंट, ठीक है? तो जब पीक करने की बारी आ गई ना, अगर इफ एट ऑल S2 is empty, ठीक है, इन दैट केस फ्रंट वेरिएबल को रिटर्न करना, अगर S2 empty नहीं है तो S2 का टॉप को रिटर्न कर देना. Like you don't have to do the same thing for peak as well, right? Or you can do it, it's same, ठीक है?
ओके सर।
empty का क्या करोगे बताओ? empty इसके लिए हेलो, how do you know कि if it is an empty value? पूरा क्यू
if rare equals to null सर।
रेयर का है, फ्रंट का है. I'm just talking about using the stacks, right? How can you say it is an empty or
Sir,
not?
if its tag is empty, then
कौन सा stack?
sir S2 सर।
अगर S2 empty है, ठीक है, this my pen man again. Let me just write it using my mouse because I lost my pen. ठीक है, so तुम कह रहे हो कि S2 empty है, ठीक है, ठीक है, तो S1 में भी तो वैल्यू हो सकते हैं ना, ये देखो 1 यहाँ पे, 2 यहाँ पे, 3 यहाँ पे, क्यों ब्रो? तो क्या ये
Yes,
empty कंडीशन है?
सर दोनों empty होने चाहिए सर।
करेक्ट, तो S1 डॉट empty करो एंड S2 डॉट empty, करेक्ट, ऐसे करना.
यस सर। यस।
तो बस यही है करना कोड. अगर नहीं हो पाए ना तो आई विल पुट द कोड इन द डॉक, ठीक है? आई मतलब इसीलिए मैं फर्स्ट दो अप्रोचेस किया जिससे तुम लोग कंफर्टेबल हो जाओगे उससे, ठीक है? एंड लाइक अगर नहीं हुआ तो डॉक में देख लेना, ठीक है? आई विल राइट द कोड इन द डॉक, ठीक है? राइट नाउ गाइस, लेट्स डू वन मोर थिंग, अ लास्ट क्वेश्चन, ठीक है, फ्रॉम क्यू, ठीक है? सो इट इज जनरेट बाइनरी नंबर्स. Guys, just see this question. I won't remove the solution. Okay, and meanwhile, let me just get my pen. Okay. Hello. Yeah, I'm back. So guys, see this thing. Okay, don't be frightened. Okay. Given a number n, task is to generate and print all the binary numbers with decimal values from 1 to n. ठीक है? Do you guys remember मैं binary search कराया था थोड़े दिन एक ही दिन पहले? Sorry, binary search नहीं, binary bit manipulation कराया था, right? So in that, I showed you thing कि पहले 0 कैसे होता था, उसके बाद 1 कैसे हुआ, उसके बाद 1,0, फिर 1,1, फिर 1,00, फिर उसके बाद 1,1, right? Something like this. Do you guys remember this thing? How these numbers have written? Right? So this is 0, right? This is 1, and this is 2, this is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? So it is 1 to n, right? Like you're supposed to print these things. Okay, you're supposed to return these things as a strings, array list of strings की तरह return करना होगा. मतलब this guy is a string, this guy is a string, this guy is a string, ऐसे. How do you do it? It's one of the good question. कैसे करोगे इसको? Guys बताओ. And नहीं वैसे नहीं, ऐसे नहीं. Don't do it in that way. ठीक है, n/2 से तो कर सकते हो, ठीक है. So n/2, if you do it using n modulo 2, ठीक है, you're generating for each value, you're taking log n time. Do you guys agree? And n values के लिए n log n time ले रहा हूँ. Do you guys agree with me with my statement? Correct. So can you think of any other way to solve this question? Guys देखो, like remove this thing, ठीक है? Can you see 1 है, यहाँ पे 2 है, यहाँ पे 3 है. It is nothing but 1 is been appended by 0, it generated one value. 1 is been appended by 1, it generated another value. Don't you think? मैं बोल रहा हूँ 1 है, 2 है, like this, ठीक है? इसको देखना एक बार, ठीक है? This guy is been appended by 0 and this guy is been appended by 1, right? Same thing is going with his. यहाँ पे 0 से append हुआ, यहाँ से 1 से append हुआ. Same thing will go with him. 0 से append करो, 1 से append करो. Can you make use of this particular pattern, guys? I'll just maintain a queue, देखना ध्यान से, of queue of strings. ठीक है? You know how to do it. You'll use a linked list, LL, okay, whatever. ठीक है? I'll just make one inside it. One रखा पहले. I push one as a string. I'll pop it down. I'll print one. मतलब I'll save one in the array list. ठीक है? But the moment I popped it, I'll push 2 more values by inserting 0 and by inserting 1. इस वैल्यू का ही मैं निकाल दिया and उसको मैं 1 0 के साथ एक append किया and 1 के साथ एक append करके push कर दिया one after the other, right? So you have 1 here, right? फिर you pop this, ठीक है, you just store the other one, but इसको भी like the moment you popped it 1 0 0 and 1 0 1, 2 things, just push it, like the value for every value you're generating 2 values by appending 0 and 1. इसको भी निकालो, इसका भी 1 1 0 1 1 1, right? So you just push one, pull that one, generate 2 values and push it inside. Okay, this is the actual like usage of FIFO, man. देखो, first in first out, right? So whatever came first in that sequence only it will work. Even though 111 pushed this thing 110 and 111, these won't be served before these things which are generated by this person, right? So queue का classic implementation है कि by using this guy, ठीक है, you're just pushed them in this way so that कि you will be accessing them before whatever is generated. तो 100 को ले लो, 100 will be pushing this and this, but these will be used only after these are done, correct? In that way, for every value, you will just keep on doing it for n times and you will just put that thing into the answer. तो constant time लग रहा है, assuming it ये constant time लग रहा है to generate it, don't you think ये बहुत ही अच्छा solution है to generate one n value? Because I found this pattern, see this pattern, ठीक है, वरना तुम्हें हमेशा एक एक वैल्यू को जनरेट करने में लॉन्ग एंड टाइम लगता है. Do you guys agree with this? तो वही एग्जैक्टली लेट मी सी, एक बार कोड देखो, ठीक है. तो कोड में देखना, एक एरे लिस्ट बनाया, ठीक है, एक क्यू बनाया, राइट, लिंक लिस्ट के साथ, एक वैल्यू डाला विथ आई एज 1, राइट, वन वैल्यू इज बीन पुट, ठीक है. उसके बाद जस्ट सी, आई एम रनिंग दिस थिंग बाय डूइंग n-1, सो दिस पर्टिकुलर लूप विल रन n टाइम्स, ठीक है. आई पोल्ड द वैल्यू ऑफ द क्यू, ठीक है, I've added it into the answer, ठीक है. आंसर में ऐड करने के बाद द सेम स्ट्रिंग को आई एम अपेंडिंग इट विद 0 एंड अपेंडिंग इट विद 1, ठीक है. एंड लाइक आई एम डूइंग इट अगेन एंड अगेन फॉर n टाइम्स, ठीक है. एंड इट इज लाइक एट द एंड आई विल रिटर्न द आंसर. बस हाउ इज दिस क्वेश्चन, हाउ सिंपल इट बिकेम बाय यूजिंग द क्यूज. Guys, are you there? ठीक है. आई एग्री दैट ये इम्यूटेबल है तो बहुत टाइम लगता है बनने में एंड ऑल, ठीक है, वो सब तो ठीक है. एज्यूमिंग कि दिस थिंग इज लाइक ऑन पेपर इट इज कांस्टेंट बाय अपेंडिंग वन वैल्यू, और एल्स अगर कांस्टेंट नहीं लगा यू कैन यूज द स्ट्रिंग बिल्डर थिंग. स्ट्रिंग बिल्डर में यू जस्ट नीड टू डू अपेंड एज डॉट अपेंड, you just need to do this and it will be appended, and at the end to string में convert करना होगा. Simple. You need to see this pattern, just see this pattern, see this pattern. और ये थोड़ा बहुत related है the question that is asked to me in Amazon. See, 1 है, 1 को 0 append किया, 1 append किया. You can see that it is same, right? You can say that this is same. You can say that this is same, right? In the same way for this is same, right? तो एक बार सोचो ऐसे चीजें, patterns ढूंढो nature में. So can you guys, like, did you guys understand the code और मैं scratch से बनाऊँ, बताओ. You guys understood, assuming कि तुम लोग को सब समझ में आ रहा है, and इसीलिए मैंने I just left the code here only. I didn't code it. See, what if I do it in this order? Will the answer change, guys? It will change, right? I want, like, the whole point of putting this before it is it's a queue, right? So 0 पहले आएगा, correct? ठीक है, even though it's a big number and big number is been pushed before that number, we won't be using that, ठीक है. So ये हो गया, ठीक है. So let me quickly tell you, I wanted to do a great question, लेकिन 1 hour लगेगा उसके लिए, ठीक है. rotten tomatoes करके, rotten oranges. So this is also asked in Amazon, ठीक है. मतलब only this question, upon this question the whole interview is judged. Only one question is being asked to him and it is judged, like he is completely judged on this, ठीक है. ठीक है, we'll do this. We'll do this when we do trees, ठीक है. जब trees करेंगे ना तब देखेंगे इसको, ठीक है. तो मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि let me explain something called DQ, right? We won't be doing much questions, but like knowing this is good, ठीक है. You won't be mostly getting question on this. I can make you guys do one question, ठीक है, if at all you guys are fine with it, ठीक है. But let's see, ठीक है. देखो इसमें देखो DQ, there's something called DQ. DQ is also called as deck, ठीक है. DQ का मतलब है doubly ended queue, right? So what is a deck, what is a DQ? So it is a data structure something like this. यहाँ पे जैसे कि queue में क्या होता है कि you can remove from the front, so this is front, this is rear, so you can put it inside from the rear and you can pull it out from the front, right? This is what a classic queue is. But यहाँ पे you can remove it from the rear and push it from the end front as well. That is what doubly ended queue is. मतलब दोनों तरफ से you can push and pull whatever you want to. ठीक है guys. So DQ again is a extended interface of Q. ठीक है, so this is how it is implemented. New linked list similar to that, right? Or you can use array DQ, right, which is also a dynamic kind of array which will be used to implement DQ, right? So what are the methods? Again, so here D is an object, right? So D dot remove first will remove the element from the first. ठीक है, ये वाला है ना. Remove last, D dot remove last. इसके बाद D dot add first. So these are the methods. X. So from the first it will be added. ठीक है, D dot add last. ऐसे, right? So these are the four methods that are present. As you can see that these are here. Okay, so there's a great question if you want to do. Okay, it's maximum of all subarrays. So this is completely based on sliding window and Deques. Okay, and again it will take half an hour time for me to explain. Okay, so this is a sliding window plus Deques question. It comes into hard category. Okay, right? So it basically says ki you're supposed to, like, you have an array. It says ki take a k sized subarray, right, and tell me what is the maximum value. For example, यहाँ पे 3 है, यहाँ पे 2 है, यहाँ पे -1 है. You're supposed to say it is 3 print करना होगा. आगे बढ़ो, like यहाँ पे 4 आ गया समझ लो. It will be 4. ठीक है, आगे और बढ़ो and it will be 4 still, right, in that way. So this is maximum of all subarrays of size k. For this you need to use a DQ. ठीक है, कैसे करोगे सोचो. ठीक है, how did you find that when we should use sliding window? See bro, sliding window का क्वेश्चन का टेम्पलेट ऐसे ही होने वाला है. सब array ऑफ साइज के, उसके लिए स्लाइडिंग विंडो ही लगे ना, और क्या लगेगा. सोचो एक बार, साइज के, साइज फिक्स्ड है तो स्लाइड ही करोगे ना उसको, सब array को. ठीक है, तो स्लाइडिंग विंडो से हो जाएगा ना सर. DQ क्यों यूज करना है, कैसे हो जाएगा ब्रो स्लाइडिंग विंडो से? हाउ कैन यू कीप ट्रैक ऑफ द मैक्सिमम एलिमेंट बर्थ in this particular subarray? How can you keep track of maximum element from the subarray? Can you tell me? पूरा ट्रैवर्स करोगे फिर तो n into k हो जाएगा. तो DQ को यूज करना पड़ेगा. लाइक DQ को कैसे यूज करोगे? फिर मूविंग फॉरवर्ड एक एलिमेंट को इंसर्ट करो DQ में, राइट, एंड एक एलिमेंट को जाने दो DQ से, एंड कीप ट्रैक. कुछ ऐसा इंप्लीमेंट करो जिससे only the maximum element is present at a particular position. Only the maximum element is always present at the end or at the starting. I have a meet, guys. I need to attend it. ठीक है, ठीक है, we'll see you. ठीक है, मैक्स एलिमेंट का ट्रैक कैसे रखेंगे, दैट इज द ओनली क्वेश्चन ना. हाँ नहीं, ये उसका काम नहीं है, अमेज़न का काम नहीं है, इट्स Microsoft का काम. कुछ वी आर डूइंग समथिंग. ठीक है, तो विल सी यू. ठीक है, थैंक्स फॉर अटेंडिंग टिल द एंड. 60 पीपल, यू गाइस आर ग्रेट. ठीक है, काफी स्टैमिना है तुम लोगों में. ठीक है, ये कंटिन्यू करना. आई होप यू लाइक टुडे. ठीक है, बस इतना ही है, देयर इज नॉट मच हियर. ठीक है, क्यूज काफी कवर्ड है. ठीक है, लाइक दिस क्वेश्चन इज सफिशिएंट. ठीक है, अभी ट्रीज में आई विल मेक यू गाइस डू फ्यू क्वेश्चंस ऑफ क्यूज एज वेल. ठीक है, सो आई विल मेक यू गाइस डू फ्यू क्वेश्चंस ऑफ क्यू, डोंट वरी दैट. ठीक है, उसके बारे में थोड़ा चिंता मत दो. ठीक है, क्यूज का क्वेश्चन करेंगे आराम से आज. ठीक है, एंड सी यू. बिट मैनिपुलेशन पे देता हूँ. ठीक है, आई विल सेंड. एक बार डॉग देख लेना, अभी आई विल फाइंड एंड सेंड यू. ठीक है, चलो बाय बाय गिरिराज, बाय 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 बाय.